Hi, I'm Jen.
I'm Sybil.
And I'm Serena.
And you're listening to Every Rom Com, the podcast where we have fun taking romantic comedies seriously.
This week on Every Rom Com, we'll continue our horror rom-com series with another zombie rom-com, this time featuring love between the living and the dead.
We'll talk about the power of love, the power of a good soundtrack, and the power of Nicholas Hoult's facial expressions.
And we'll answer the really important question, which monsters would you be willing to date? As we discuss the 2013 zombie rom-com classic, Warm Bodies. Hello. For the first time, I have the Serena and Sybil at the same time podcast. I'm excited about this. I've told Lee I was excited about this.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I just like it when new people talk to each other and seeing what that interaction is like. Any group of people you get together, I think you get a different vibe. I don't know.
Maybe the worlds collide.
Yeah, and the worlds collide as well. I love worlds colliding. Oh my God, it makmakes me so happy. Anyway.
100%.
And you're both Aries, like we were talking before the podcast. So, like, as a Pisces, I like Aries, but I slightly fear them as well sometimes. So
that is a valid feeling.
My boyfriend's a Pisces, so like, I feel like, yeah. I mean, it's new. I feel like as like a young Aries, I could have never dealt. It would have never worked. But like as an older Aries, like we complement each other. So I appreciate Pisces.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad to have you both on the show for this discussion. And I think you guys have both, we'll talking about our opinion later, but you guys have both seen Warm Bodies like well before I had. Yeah.
I think we were both fans. Serena, you were a fan, right?
Yeah. I mean, I watched it when it came out. I remember seeing it in the theaters, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm a newbie, so that'll be interesting too to hear from two fans and then me, the newbie. So. Cool. And so today, like before we started though, I just wanted to like ask you guys, like we've been talking on the other episodes about your favorite horror movies, etc. And I wanted to know, like, what are you guys' favorite zombie movies? Do you like other zombie movies? Is that even a genre you usually watch, or is it just this one?
It's not really like a go-to for me. I don't mind them. But it's not my favorite as far as horror movies. They're not that scary to me. So
Same for me, actually. Zombie movies don't scare me that much.
It's probably why because I don't like scary movies. It's probably why I've seen more zombie movies as horror movies than any others. I don't really love zombie movies, but if you've talked to me about the horror movies I've seen, I'm like, oh, I've seen that. I've seen more zombie movies than almost any other like horror genre movie.
So, like, Serena, if you had to pick a favorite horror movie, then what would you pick? Like,
I did like Midsommar that came out pretty recently. I really liked that. I like
that too.
The creepiness gets me more than like direct, scary, gory stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And have you seen his other one, Hereditary, yet?
Yeah. That was almost like a little too scary for me, like a little too like psychological, but it was definitely pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I will tell you the trailer scared me. Midsommar. Like the music would freak me out. I was like, shut up, stop staring.
Yes, it's pretty good.
And then like, so for both of you then, what is your favorite zombie movie? Is this your favorite zombie movie? And if not, if so, is there another?
Zombieland for me is my favorite
zombie
movie.
Okay.
Yeah, this probably is my favorite zombie movie, but there's a couple that I do really like. 28 Days Later, when that came out.
Why are you laughing?
28 Days Later is, I always say that is the movie about how long it takes apparently to get across Britain, which you can drive across in 11 hours. So yeah, anybody who's lived there is like, what took so long?
But they weren't driving.
Takes 11 hours to drive from one side to the other, and there wasn't anything on the road. So what took so long?
Good point. I did recently see another zombie movie called the Girl with All the Gifts.
That's a great book too.
Yes, that's good.
That came out pretty recently. That was really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and I think you're going to tell more about that later in the double features. Is that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
I actually just mentioned both of them, but whatever.
No, that's okay.
I 100% agree with Girl with All the Gifts.
Yeah.
100%. And it does have ties to this film.
Correct.
Same kind of feel.
Yeah.
And like my favorites, I think, are, well, the original Romero, Night of the Living Dead is one of my favorites. Shaun of the Dead. And then
Shaun of the Dead. Excellent call.
And then the Dawn of the Dead remake, I think it was Zack Snyder did that one. And but it's not the Zack Snyder of it all that I love. It's the Sarah Polley of it all, who's the main actor in that one. She's so good in that movie. And the zombies are quite threatening. It's the whole zombie in a mall thing, like the original Dawn of the Dead, but I like the way they do it in the remake better. I don't often like remakes better, but there you go.
Awesome. Before we get started with today's episode, just a few notes. First, as usual, there will be a spoiler-free section at the beginning of the episode, and we'll warn you when the spoiler section starts.
We'd also like to remind you that you can follow the podcast on social media. Our Facebook page is Every Rom Com Podcast and Blog. Our Instagram is @Every Rom Com, and our Twitter handle is @Every Rom Com Pod.
And as always, you can find the podcast at everyromcom.com. Send us feedback at feedback@everyromcom.com. And if you like what you hear, please rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. And now let's listen to a little bit of the trailer for Warm Bodies.
What am I doing with my life? I just want to connect. Why can't I connect with people? Oh, right. It's because I'm dead. I wish I could introduce myself, but I don't remember my name. I think it started with an R. That's all I have left. It's kind of a bummer. I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I mean, we're all dead. This is my best friend. We even have almost conversations sometimes. They call these guys Boneys. They'll eat anything with a heartbeat. I mean, I will too, but at least I'm conflicted about it. Nice watch. Much. Don't be creepy.
What are you?
This is a corpse infected with the plague. It is uncaring, unfeeling, incapable of remorse.
I don't understand, but he's changing, and he feels, and he's learning to be human again. Oh my God, is that him? Yeah.
Seth. He started something here. Whatever it is that you two have, it's infecting the others.
Dad, they're somehow curing themselves.
They are not curing themselves. Come with me.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, a lot of the trailer, you can't really see what's going on, obviously, on the podcast, but like a lot of the trailer is more visual, like because zombies have limited vocabularies. So there you go.
That's true. They do grunt a lot. All right, so here's some information about the movie. Warm Bodies was made in 2013. It was directed by Jonathan Levine, who is one of my favorite directors. It's written by Jonathan Levine, and it's based on a novel by Isaac Marion. It's starring Nicholas Hoult, Teresa Palmer, and John Malkovich, though I'm always like, is it really starring John Malkovich? I think he was kind of just thrown in. He is just kind of thrown in. They're like, yay, we need a big name. Because at that time, Nicholas Hoult really wasn't a big name.
So we'll talk about the basic premise. In the beginning, we meet a male zombie in his early 20s. He's living in an airport, and he can only remember the first letter of his human name, which is R. Unlike typical zombie movies, R has an internal monologue that we're listening to. He has a desire to connect. He has a zombie best friend, and he has a record collection that he keeps inside the plane that also serves as his house. We're also introduced to Julie. Julie is the human daughter of a military commander living inside a walled city. One day on a hunting trip in the city, R sees Julie on a scavenging mission for medical supplies. Julie doesn't see this, but R ends up eating her boyfriend's brains, thereby gaining his memories of a relationship with Julie. After the zombies have killed most of Julie's friends, R disguises her as a zombie and brings Julie home with him to the airport. And then as Julie begins to know R, she starts thinking the zombies might have more humanity than at first glance.
So a few interesting facts about Warm Bodies. So it started out as just a short story by Isaac Marion, and he was actually encouraged to turn that story into a novel. He hadn't really thought of it at first. Then his unpublished manuscript of the novel Warm Bodies was actually optioned by producer Bruna Papandrea, and she found it romantic and appreciated the uniqueness of telling the story from the zombies' perspective. Like, how cool would that be, though, if you were like an author who had never been published before and you already had your manuscript like optioned by Hollywood?
That'd be awesome.
I can't even imagine. Anyway, and the movie eventually was shot in Montreal, and the airport scenes were filmed at the Montreal Mirabel International Airport, which had its last commercial flight in 2004. I guess nowadays the airport there has actually started doing private flights and stuff like that again. But at the time they were shooting Warm Bodies, it wasn't being used. In the special features, the makeup artist Adrienne Moreau for the film described the look that they were aiming for R as a zombie James Dean. I think that kind of comes through.
Yeah.
And the movie cost $35 million to make, which, like, with some of the low budget movies we've been talking about on the podcast, like in the past few months, that seems like a lot now. I know it's not, but it does. Like, we've been talking about the Before trilogy, Wet Hot American Summer, like Happy Death Day, all small budgets, $35 million. I'm like, my God, man. But I mean, it's not that much really. And it ended up grossing a worldwide $114 million. And as of 2019, I saw a report that Lionsgate was developing a Warm Bodies television series with Jonathan Levine, but I don't see it on his IMDb page. That doesn't mean it's not happening, but like, who knows with the pandemic? I couldn't find any updated information about that. So,
that would be interesting. I mean, I'm on board with anything he does, but I don't know if this is the time for that. Like, I don't know if anybody'd be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, I mean, The Walking Dead's huge, but this would be like a happy Walking Dead.
But aren't we on like the like 19th season of Walking Dead or something?
Yeah, like there's like 3 spinoffs or something.
Yeah. It's turning into like a Stargate saga or something. You're like, which version is this? Like, what is this?
Absolutely. Speaking of Jonathan Levine, he is an amazing director. As I've said before, I love his stuff. His feature directing debut was All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. And by the way, this is a kind of a weird film, but worth seeing. Also, before Warm Bodies, he wrote and directed The Whackness, which I hadn't seen. Go watch it. It's weird too. Directed 50-50. After Warm Bodies, he wrote and directed The Night Before, a great Christmas movie coming up. She's watched that. Directed Snatched and directed Long Shot, which we've talked about on episode 2 of the podcast with moi. Most recently directed the TV show 9 Perfect Strangers and wrote 1 episode in that. As of August 2020, reports had him directing the new Dirty Dancing sequel, which Jennifer Grey is developing, but it's not an IMDb page at the moment. So, man, he's apparently doing a lot of stuff that is just rumored.
Well, I'm at least the Dirty Dancing thing. I mean, that is like from last year, and it is post pandemic. I think it is a little more solid. I mean, it's still up on like Jennifer Grey's IMDb page, so it's definitely happening. So, and it has authors attached to it now, so I think it's probably still happening. But
and I can see that because people are super ready for more Dirty Dancing, super.
So the next creator is Isaac Marion, who's the author of the original book. And he didn't have like a ton to do with the screenplay. It sounds like he was consulting on the screenplay, but it's really like Jonathan Levine's like adaptation. Like, I mean, he did a lot of work to it. But Isaac Marion is from Seattle. He had self-published several novels before Warm Bodies. Warm Bodies isn't actually his first IMDb credit. He does have an original story credit on a short called Room Enough from 2010. And 2010 is also the year Warm Bodies was published. So Warm Bodies isn't the only story in that series. In 2013, Marion released a prequel novella to Warm Bodies called The New Hunger. And then in 2017, he released a sequel called The Burning World and another sequel, The Living, in 2018. And so I looked at his website because I was kind of curious about, what's going on with him these days. I'll link to his website in the show notes. He currently lives in Eastern Washington. He's continuing to write. As of September 14th of this year, it says that he just finished a book called The Overnoise, but right now he's editing it and then shopping around for a publisher. So his website is isaacmarion.com. Seems like a pretty interesting guy. So if you want to know more about him or check out his other books in this series, like give it a visit. And yeah, it's astounding to me though that this guy who wrote this book that got made into Warm Bodies doesn't have a publisher right now for what he's writing.
I mean, that's actually not that astounding if you've ever like paid attention to the publishing world. A lot of times, like you have no different than a one-hit wonder kind of music. It just happens.
All right. So Warm Bodies is starring Nicholas Hoult. He plays R, aka the corpse. He is a British actor. And he was a child actor. His first IMDb credit was in 1996 when he was just 7 years old. His breakout role, a lot of people definitely have seen him in this, is 2002's About a Boy. He plays Marcus opposite Hugh Grant and Toni Collette.
And I need to pause. I love him in that so much.
Yes.
I love him. When that movie came out, I was working in a theater in Seattle and I must have watched it like 10 times.
Yes. And every time I see him, that's always what I think. I think, oh my God, it's Marcus or About a Boy. Because he was so good in that.
When he kills the duck, amazing.
Other prominent roles before Warm Bodies included the TV show Skins, which is amazing.
I'm going to stop you right here. So when I saw him in Skins for the first time, I was like, how is that the same kid? Oh my God. He is so hot. Oh my God. All right.
Yes, totally agree. 100%. He was in Single Man and X-Men First Class. He gets to play Beast, which is, I think it's pretty awesome because he's a big guy, right? He's pretty tall.
Oh no, he's crazy tall.
Prominent roles after Warm Bodies include 3 more X-Men movies: Mad Max Fury Road, Rebel in the Rye, Rebel in the Rye, Newness, The Favorite, Tolkien, and the TV show The Great, which I absolutely love.
And he's amazing in The Favorite. Come on, he's amazing in everything he does.
Yes, he really is. He's
amazing.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too. So I am as well.
I want to know more about The Great. Like,
it's so good.
What is he playing in that?
It's about Catherine the Great,
and he plays the king.
Okay,
yeah, he plays Peter, not the Great.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny. It's so well written.
It's so incredibly. I've watched it like 4 times. It's so because you find nuances because all the roles are so nuanced. It's so great.
Nice.
What I do like about Nicholas Hoult is his comedic timing is so good because it's so subtle because he kind of seems like this big kind of bumbling guy, but he's just uncanny playing these characters.
Absolutely, I agree. He can really pull off something that no one else can.
He does have a few things in pre-production right now, including a project called Renfield, where he plays Renfield, Dracula's henchman who lives in an insane asylum.
He takes interesting roles. He takes a lot of different things. Yeah.
There is another season of The Great coming out too that I'm
cool.
Like I know on board for.
I'm desperately waiting for that to drop. All right, let's go to Teresa Palmer, who plays Julie. And if you're catching the Romeo and Juliet vibe, that's what's going on here. First IMDb credit in 2018 when she was 18. Apparently, she was discovered while working in a mall, and her first feature, 237, came from that. So if you're working in a mall and you want to be an actress, it can happen. Some pre-Warm Body roles include The Grudge 2, I Am Number 4, Take Me Home Tonight, Wish You Were Here. Some post-Warm Body roles: The Ever After, Point Break, which is actually a decent remake, everyone. Nicholas Sparks' adaptation called The Choice, Lights Out, Hacksaw Ridge, Berlin Syndrome, and a biopic directed by Rachel Griffith called Ride Like a Girl. Most recently, she's the lead character in A Discovery of Witches, which is the 2018 to 2022 production of it, and in post-production on a horror film called The Twin, which sounds super creepy. I looked it up.
Yeah, it did sound super creepy.
Yeah, super creepy.
So there's a lot of times we'll go into depth on the other cast, but this time we're just going to go do a breezy run through here. So sorry, John Malkovich, you've been demoted to other cast right now.
I told you he was not a star.
I mean, he is a star because he's John Malkovich, but he doesn't fill up much in the movie. Yeah. So John Malkovich is in the movie, which is a big get, no doubt. His character is listed as Grigio, like, which seems like an odd way to list his character. Like, he's basically a military leader, like a general, colonel. I can't remember what he is exactly, but yeah. And he's Julie's father as well. Obviously, John Malkovich has been in like tons of things. Like, you might recognize him from Dangerous Liaisons. You might recognize him from being John Malkovich. My personal favorite is his role in Burn After Reading. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie, but there's sometimes when I'm in the exact mood of his character in that movie, and I just like want to yell morons and fuckers at everybody. It's terrible. It's terrible. But like, if you ever watch Burn After Reading and see John Malkovich's character freaking out, like there's a part of Jen that is like that character.
Okay.
Any favorite Malkovich roles from y'all?
Probably Annie Lennox's Walking on Broken Glass, which
what?
is the music
He's
video.
In the video?
Yes. It's basically just Dangerous Liaisons, a music video with Annie Lennox. But I don't know. I just really love that pairing. And someone else Hugh Laurie is in it as well. They're like fighting over Annie Lennox, which in my mind is like the greatest thing ever.
That was an unexpected favorite John Malkovich role.
I know. I was like, all right.
Kind of random, but okay.
You got it? You got anything, Sybil?
I don't think I have any specific favorite John Malkovich. He appears in things and I'll be like, damn, that's an interesting John Malkovich choice. He makes also interesting choices. Like this film, you'll be like, all right, John, I'm glad you're here today.
Yes.
Okay. And then we've got Rob Corddry shows up and he plays M, who is R's best zombie friend. And he has 106 acting credits on IMDb. He's done a lot of comedy. He shows up in a lot of things. I for one, was like, oh, I recognize him. Were you guys the same? Or were like,
I actually love him. I'm a huge fan of him.
Okay,
I've seen him in person in a bunch of stand-up comedy. I'm a huge fan of him. So I was really excited when he was in this.
Nice. Well, on IMDb, it said Hot Tub Time Machine is one of his most prominent roles. I realized eventually that I recognized him from playing a lawyer friend of Jeffrey on a few episodes of Community. And I'm like, that's where I know him from. But I'm sure I've seen him in other stuff too. Like, Serena, did you have that recognition or were you like...
Yeah, but I couldn't really place it.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of those like funny character actors that you see around. He always stands out though.
And then there's Leo Tipton, who plays Nora, Julie's friend. So they are probably most recognizable as the babysitter in Crazy Stupid Love. Also appeared in Two Night Stand and Manhattan Love Story, which I guess is a TV show. So not a ton of recognizable work, but a few things you probably have seen. And then there's Dave Franco. Dave Franco, aka James Franco's younger brother. I mean, he's kind of stuck with that shadow probably, but he's done some stuff in his own right. He plays Perry, Julie's boyfriend at the beginning of the movie. He appears in Neighbors, 21 Jump Street, and The Disaster Artist, among other things. So that's like, there's more people in the cast, but that's like the basic, people you need to know about. Let's see. We talked a little bit about like when you had seen the movie. Like you guys saw it a while ago. I saw it like literally like last week. So what's your remembrance of first seeing the movie, your impressions then, your impressions now, whatever you got?
I know for me, the first time I saw Warm Bodies, I had read the book. And so I was really excited to go see the film. And when I saw it, I was like, you know what? This was a really good adaptation of this. I was pretty impressed by it. There were changes made, but I felt that they did a good job of it. And I just was like, wow, Nicholas Hoult is the shit. That's pretty much my impression.
Nice. Serena, what you got?
Yeah, probably same thing. Like Nicholas Hoult is a hot zombie kind of idea. That's probably why I went and saw it in the first place. But I just thought it was really well done, and I enjoyed watching it, and I thought it was unique for sure.
So I'm gonna like end up being the odd one out because like I'm the person who like everybody like told them to watch Warm Bodies for like a million years. Okay, like I was in Korea when this came out, and I don't think it came to Korea. And so it came out in the States. Everyone had seen it in the States. I come back like, oh, you got to see Warm Bodies. Oh, you got to see Warm Bodies. It's like the best zombie movie. You have to see it. And so like when I saw it, I had like of course big expectations, and then I was kind of like, well, yeah, it's all right. And it did grow on me with a second viewing. Like I kind of appreciated some of like how it was put together more, and I was able to like appreciate Nicholas Hoult's acting more. But like, it's not for me like the best. So like, I'll be the lame one who's like, oh, I don't know, guys.
That's cool.
And now you're all quiet. You're like, yeah, I'm leaving the
we're just listening. Not everyone has to like it. Also, I mean, when this came out, it was 2016, when
2013.
2013, yeah. It was a very different time for different films.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can see why people like it. And I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just kind of like more like...
I still like it now. But I mean, I never hunted it down. Like, I don't own it to like rewatch it over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel like it's a movie that I'd be like, I need to rewatch this. Like, maybe if I were putting together like a zombie like film screening, you know, like we did with that Vampires the one time, like I might put it in my zombie festival, my 24-hour zombie festival or whatever. But yeah.
I could see if I had like seen it, if I had been like 18 in 2013 or something, I could see it being like one of my like favorite movies. But yeah, it was just something that I remembered really liking, and that was it.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. I just want to talk a little bit too. We talked about this a little bit in the last episode I did with Apple, which was about the movie Little Monsters. We talked about like the different types of zombie rom-coms, and specifically the in love with a zombie rom-com genre. So believe it or not, Warm Bodies isn't actually the first love with a zombie film ever made. I'm not sure if these are either, but some earlier examples include 1993's Return of the Living Dead 3, and the same year, My Boyfriend's Back, which, by the way, I totally need to see now because apparently like Matthew McConaughey, Matthew Fox, and like Philip Seymour Hoffman are all randomly in that movie somewhere.
I feel like I've seen it, but I just don't remember it.
Like the more I read about it, the more I'm like, I need to see that movie. Anyway, those are both like in love with the zombie movies. And then also there's like a zombie sexual affair in 1994's Cemetery Man, which I rewatched recently and it's terrible.
What is that about?
It's like Rupert Everett. It's I think it's Italian made, and like he like is the owner of the cemetery where people like come back to life, and he has to kill them regularly. And then this woman he's sleeping with comes back to life, and it's like a whole thing. It's a terrible movie. Though. You don't want to see it. Okay?
I mean, it definitely sounds like a winner. I'm definitely putting it on my list.
I feel like I just need to see it out of curiosity. Like it's called Cemetery Man.
Good
like,
luck finding it. Like literally, it's like almost impossible to find. I have a VHS copy of it, which is apparently worth like $30 some now if I want to sell it on eBay because you can't find it places. So yeah, I might do that. Or if you have a VHS player, I will send it to you.
I absolutely do not.
Okay, so they're also like not only were there like previous like in love with the zombie movies, but like I feel like the end of Shaun of the Dead in 2004 also laid some of the groundwork for this story because
I agree.
The spoiler warning at the end of Shaun of the Dead, his friend is able to function in some capacity in society. So like, and his friend had been turned into a zombie. So yeah, you agree? Yeah, I feel like that's
a little bit. Yeah, some kind of feeling.
Yeah. And then the year after Warm Bodies, there was another zombie sort of comedy with romantic elements called Life After Beth, which stars Aubrey Plaza. I have not seen it. Have either of you seen that one?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Do you think it's like is it a rom-com or is it more just a comedy? Like,
it's more of a comedy, but yes, like she's in a relationship, so there's that element of it.
Yeah,
you can say it's a rom-com. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Okay, cool. I'm glad somebody else has seen one of these.
Yeah.
And my new goal is My Boyfriend's Back. I got to see it.
Yeah.
So unless you guys want to talk more about like the zombie rom-com genre or like what you think about that genre.
Well, that there is a genre is fascinating, but no.
Okay, so let's move on then to like, we'll start the film. So like the opening of this film is so good. And I feel like the dialogue is so good and it's different from the book. I mean, the opening book dialogue is good too, but the way that this was translated by Jonathan Levine to the movie is so good. So I wanted to actually play a clip of that, the opening dialogue, so you can hear it for yourself.
What am I doing with my life? I'm so pale. I should get out more. I should eat better. My posture is terrible. I should stand up straighter. People would respect me more if I stood up straighter. What's wrong with me? I just want to connect. Why can't I connect with people? Oh, right. It's because I'm dead. I shouldn't be so hard on myself. I mean, we're all dead. This girl's dead. That guy's dead. That guy in the corner is definitely dead. These guys look awful. I wish I could introduce myself, but I don't remember my name anymore. I mean, I think it started with an R, but that's all I have left. I can't remember my name, or my parents, or my job, although my hoodie would suggest I was unemployed.
And the sound you hear at the end is like the guy who's the security guy at the airport waving him with the wand.
Which is kind of like just saying that they're sort of zombies anyways, because that's like he didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah, and that theme, I think that theme plays out the entire time, which I loved.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it that way, but I also look at it as like it's a sign that these zombies do remember like a little bit of their previous life too. Like it's giving you that like Jim Jarmusch's film The Dead Don't Die had the same conceit. It's released later, of course, but like all the zombies like retain like one thing that they kind of remember. Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, like the coffee zombies are my favorite. They go around with like a coffee pot being like, coffee. So for the security guy, that was his vestige, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, like
hold on to the thing that's like important to them.
Yeah. But yeah, it also does do the whole like showing that we're zombies anyway. Like also like Shaun of the Dead, like the beginning of that movie where Shaun's just waking up and grunting and like going to the corner store without looking at anyone kind of deal.
Yeah.
And that ties in with the dialogue where he says, it must have been so much better before when everyone could express themselves and communicate their feelings and just enjoy each other's company. Like that dialogue is delivered over showing like people in normal life in the past, you know, just like not zombies, and they're all on their phones. And I was like, yeah, that moment, I'm sure it hit hard in 2013. I think it hits a lot harder in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably hit even harder in like 5 more years from now.
Maybe. I don't know if we'll head that way or if we will head back towards people kind of like adjusting to online life and like kind of like stepping back a little bit. I think it could go either way, but
I like your optimism.
I don't know. I think like people can gorge themselves on something to the point where they don't want that thing anymore. Like the 50s turned into the 60s, you know?
I can see that. I'm starting to see now, like with children who have been their entire lives have been online because their parents have posted photos of them like since birth, are now kind of they're rebelling against that, where they don't want their face shown, they don't want to be online and have their entire life online. So I can see that there being kind of a backlash.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could go either way, but yeah. Anyway, I like that bit. And then like, I just feel like the exposition in the beginning of this movie is perfection, just lays out your setting in the airport. You go to his home in the plane and you get to meet M, his zombie best friend. What do you guys think of like the opening in general? Like, I really like the opening. I think it does so much in such a small amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
No. I like that he's in an airport. I think that there's a certain kind of hell that's in an airport. It's just like a waiting period. I think that there's something to be said about everything's in an airport.
Is the airport scene, is it take place in an airport in the book?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah,
it does. But I've always thought that was very interesting to me, that like they're in an airport. They're in this like, it's essentially like you're in this like waiting facility.
Yeah.
It's like purgatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can totally see that. And like, let me see. I like the scene where he's with M sitting and just like grunting at each other.
Yeah.
I think Hoult and Corddry, like their acting there is amazing. Like it's so little. It's so little to work with. And then you also get to know like the Boneys. So the Boneys are introduced. They're like what they sound like. They look like basically just skeletons that are animated. And he calls them like people who have basically given up, or corpses who have basically given up on life, and that's how they become a Boney.
It's in that front scene that he actually shows like a Boney like going full bone, correct?
Yeah, like kind of ripping off his face.
Yeah, like
oh, don't do that. Yeah, stop that. Yeah.
Don't pick at it. You'll only make it worse.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Which should be like a really scary scene, but he makes it hysterical.
Yeah. Right. So then we follow R back to his like plane home where he's like collected a bunch of stuff, including a bunch of records. And the music in this movie becomes like, I mean, it's super important. I started going through and getting lyrics to the different songs that he plays. And the first one he puts on is Missing You by John Waite from 1984. And some of the lyrics in that are, and there's a storm that's raging through my frozen heart tonight, which is definitely some nice foreshadowing going on there.
Right.
Audience, if you kind of want a sense of the song, I'm going to do my bad singing for you again. It's like, I ain't missing you at all since you've been gone. Oh,
Missing you.
I ain't missing you at all. Yeah, anyway.
Missing you. I'll do backup for you, Jen.
I appreciated that. I don't know if that was my best singing, but hey, what are you going to do?
I like, so you have they're that they move in packs. So that they're moving in packs, and he says the line, "God, we move slow," which is actually one of my favorite lines because, you know, there's different kinds of zombies, and this sets the tone for the kind of zombies they are, which is the crazy slow moving zombies.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't actually move 100% slow all the time.
No, that's totally, like, that's one of my pet peeves of the movie, actually.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a later scene. But yeah, but what you just said, that's like one of my favorite scenes. Like,
it cracks me up.
It's just like he feels so ashamed of himself for moving slow when he says it. Like, that's what, that's
like they should definitely work out more. Like he should get he should be juicing and getting a tan. You know, like these are feelings he had before when he just wore his hoodie and sat in a basement.
Actually, I do want to talk about that book film difference. So in the book, he seemed like he's supposed to have been like maybe a corporate guy or an intern at a company.
Yeah, he wore a suit. He wore a suit in the book. And in this, he wears a hoodie, which does not make him very James Dean, in my opinion, but okay.
Like a red hoodie, and jeans. I mean, the jeans are James Dean, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I get it. They're trying to make him cool, like modern day cool.
Yeah. And the red kind of is a nice visual element to have, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I would like the movie as well if he was in a suit. It'd be like Office Space meets Warm Bodies or something. So yeah, when they're traveling in packs, it's because they're going to eat. And to go to eat, they go to the city, which, like, it's interesting. Like, I was going to talk about this later, but I'm going to talk about it right now. This is very different from other zombie movies in that, like, all the zombies are kind of in one area and all the people are kind of in one area. And it's not mixed. Like in The Walking Dead, it's like there's zombies here, there's people here, there's everyone's mixed around, right? And you can meet a zombie anywhere. And here it's like you pretty much know where the zombies are usually. You pretty much know where the humans are. And then they go to the city, the part of the city beyond the wall. The zombies go to the feed, the humans go there to gather supplies. And that's when they interact. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was really interesting. And it always felt like, to me, like it's almost like they're going on an outing. They're like going clubbing or something. Like, does that make sense? Like it was always really funny to me where it's just like, okay, well, we're going to go on this field trip now. Yeah. So we're gonna go out. Like, what do you want to eat today? Where do you want to go? And it did always seem very weird. And the book is like that too, where they're very segregated. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is it's because it's supposed to show that the zombies are still there's a difference in the book where there's like a hierarchy of the zombie world, but also that the zombies are trying to they're creating like their own kind of world as well.
Yeah. I think it definitely makes the threat level of the movie less urgent in a lot of places in the movie. And I think it's maybe because this isn't supposed to be so much about scary zombies going to attack you or scary humans going to shoot you. It's more just about their love story. And it's a lot of things in the movie seem more symbolic to me than realistic, or metaphorical maybe than realistic. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, also, I do feel that this is a retelling of the Romeo and Juliet story. So you have like the Capulets and the Montagues. So good with my Shakespeare. And you really do have those like two worlds, and they like will go into town and meet.
Yeah. And somebody online pointed out that like M could stand for Mercutio.
Yeah,
I guess.
That's what I thought too.
100%.
That makes sense.
And then Julie's boyfriend Perry, Paris.
Yeah, and it's 100% a Romeo and Juliet retelling.
Mm-hmm. And then her friend Nora wants to be a nurse. So it's like she's the nurse. So it's kind of, like they've got these different characters for sure. So, then we go over to the human community which are hidden behind this wall. And Julie is there with a group of her friends, including her boyfriend Perry and friend Nora. And they're watching a propaganda video with Julie's dad talking about how you have to kill zombies. It doesn't matter if you know them. Like, I feel like this would not actually be necessary, personally. Like, if in a real zombie apocalypse, people are shooting each other, for Christ's sakes. Like,
also, like so one of my pet peeves about this in general was just like everything about their community seems so ridiculous. Okay, so you're all living behind a wall and you're all on high alert, but then you like go out into the streets and stuff and you're like I guess we're just going to lollygag around and everything about it seems kind of like they all just want to die, I guess.
And I was wondering, why were they sending out like the teenagers? I mean, I guess they're like older teenagers and are probably the most fit, but I was still kind of like, they seem a little young to be like, you're gonna go out and find the supplies, you know?
And we all have attitudes. We're not going to go out and just have sex while we're out looking for zombies. I don't know. Yeah, no, everything about that particular section just seems really kind of like weird to me, but I'm like, all right, whatever. This is the world we're living in, you know.
Like, yeah,
and
but like, that was the thing that bothered me the most. Though it's just like, and it's real. I feel like if there's an actual zombie apocalypse, you would not have to convince anybody to shoot zombies. Like,
no,
it'd be so much harder to convince people not to shoot people accidentally because you thought they were a zombie. You'd have to have videos about
kill
that.
Your friend. Double check if they're a zombie first.
Yeah. That's the video you need, in my opinion.
Jen, you've won me over with this idea that should have been the video. Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, and in this same scene, it's introduced that like Julie is still kind of hopes that there might be a cure for this old zombie plague, but Perry is like resigned to, like, he said, no, this is the way the world is. No one believes in a cure anymore. So sets their relationship up. And then we move on. So Julie's group has gone into the city to get medical supplies, and ours group, we know already, has gone to there to feed. Julie hears a noise, and she's like, oh, we got to leave Perry. And Perry's like, no, we got to stay and get the medical supplies. And one guy's playing a video game, like you said, Sybil.
Yeah, they were a little like lollygagging.
Now that I think of it, lackadaisical. Really, they're just like, what up? Whatevs. I mean, I have this gun, but I barely use it. Whatever. I'm going to go get my nails done.
Yeah.
But Julie, like, I feel in that scene is portrayed as like really smart, really cautious. And then like when ours group bursts in and begins attacking, she's like a really good shot. She's like holding her own with that gun.
Her dad is the colonel.
Yeah. / general / I don't know.
/ somebody / Credo. Yeah. / the only person apparently who knows what he's doing.
But the story really, it's less about like the zombie attack in some ways and more about, we see R looking at Julie. And there's this like moment where the filming is done as such to show that he is struck by Julie. He's like entranced by her. And then she kind of gives him a look too, I guess. I think that was what they were going for. Would you say so? Yeah.
I think that she gives him a look like she notices him beyond that he's just a regular zombie. But it could be that she's noticing that he's like staring at her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That he's not just like mindlessly doing, like he's like, hey girl, what's up?
And then like I couldn't follow the action 100%, but like what the important thing to know is that Julie doesn't see this, but R eats Perry, her boyfriend's brain. And in this scene, it's established that eating the brains gives you the people's memories, thoughts, and feelings. So it's much better than just eating part of their body and like turning them into a zombie. And like while this melee is going on, R gets memories, including one where Julie and Perry are in a car making out, and they say they love each other. So in the book, R actually eats Perry's brain, if I'm not mistaken, before he notices Julie.
Yes.
And it seems like that's why he notices Julie. Is that true?
That's why.
Yeah.
And he keeps like the whole like corpse in the brain so much longer, and they don't deal with that as much in the movie.
Yeah, you kind of see it like throughout it, like he does keep eating it, where you're just carrying around like a brain in your pocket, or like what, like a snack,
like Scooby snacks in your pocket.
So what I found interesting about that, though, like why I bring up particularly, is that like in a way, this makes it kind of like still Perry and Julie's love story in a way, because it's his memories, thoughts, and feelings that are inspiring R's love. So it's kind of odd to me. Like, did that give you an odd feeling, or like, is it just like whatever?
I just went with it.
I mean, when I've watched it a second or third time, I'm just like, wow. So first of all, Perry is not a good guy, and like apparently, I'm surprised that R doesn't take on more of those kind of things, like those traits.
Where is he like not a good guy? Because I see him being kind of like too harsh.
He's
maybe
kind of a douche.
Like, sometimes, like, what's the douchiest thing he does?
He belittles her and ignores her all the time.
In his modern day hardened incarnation, I would say. But like in the beginning of the memories, you see him being kind of sweet, I would think.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just think in this world of zombie killing that they're both taking different paths.
Yeah.
And like obviously he's had a lot of trauma because, you know, you see like his dad turning into a zombie, and then doesn't Julie shoot his dad?
Yeah.
All right, good point. All right, all good points made. But yeah, I mean, it is as I watched it a second, probably a third time especially, I was like, wow, I mean, I think Ari doesn't actually have feelings for Julie, but you know, definitely Perry does. And
well, maybe like I think it's like something like it more like ignites those feelings. Like it's almost like a memory, and that's like why he starts having more feelings, because it's like a remembrance of feeling like that. Or maybe he never felt like that before, and now he's feeling it through Perry's memories. So it's like doing something to him.
Yeah, I think the movie does something. I think the movie, by having him notice Julie before he eats it, like does do something to improve that situation. It's like, okay, R already noticed her, so okay. Like
now he's just using. Now it's like in Romeo and Juliet, where you're just like, I'm trying to get more detail from you. I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
So but I can't ask you directly because I'm a zombie.
Like a Cyrano.
Cyrano, yeah.
Oh my god,
Cyrano brain situation.
Yeah.
And then there's also the point that in Romeo and Juliet, there's really like not too much reason why Romeo's into Juliet anyway. So it's kind of
because they're hormones.
Yeah.
Hashtag hormones.
She's a hot 13-year-old apparently.
Yeah.
So hot.
Have you ever heard the theory? Like, I don't remember where I heard this from, but like it was definitely like a reputable theory that like Romeo and Juliet was actually supposed to be a comedy instead of a tragedy about how stupid teenagers are.
I have heard
that. Would
that.
be amazing.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah, when you read it that way, it's a much funnier story, to be honest. It's well, of course, it would be funnier, but it's like, in my opinion, more interesting in some ways. But yeah. Anyway, so R falls in love with Julie one way or the other. Starts to fall in love with Julie. We get to the situation now where most of the humans are dead. Nora is hiding under a table. Somehow this works, even though she still smells like a human. I don't know.
Well, zombies. No, if you look, so I paid attention closely to this the second time I watched it. She has blood smeared on her. She has zombie blood smeared on her.
Okay.
And you learn later that apparently even a tiny amount of zombie blood keeps you from smelling human.
Okay. Because then R goes over to Julie. Like, R sees Julie. She's like freaking out. Like, she has a knife. She throws it at him. Doesn't hit him in the head. Now apparently she has no weapons and no will to live anymore either. Because she just lets R approach her and then smear blood on her face and like basically say, "Come with me, keep you safe." Some variation of that.
Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah. Exactly, Terminator style. And it's like, I don't know, like, why would she just go? Like, that's the one.
I agree.
The part of the movie where it makes me hard to buy into the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like is she that scared?
She was in shock. She was in super amounts of shock, and the zombies just like not killing her but taking her places.
I mean, shock I could maybe buy. Yeah, I guess because she just saw her boyfriend killed, but she doesn't want to give Nora's position away. Maybe.
I mean, there's definitely an edge there where you're just like, for real, girl. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Like, are you crazy? Is he just taking you home for snackies later? But, you know, hey, okay. I mean, it would have been better if she'd been knocked out and he just picked her up and took her.
Yeah, it would have been.
That would definitely be more like caveman misogynistic undertones, though. I don't know if they would have wanted to go with that.
Right, but it's you know, she takes herself, and that was the choice she makes.
Yeah. And then that's how we have the movie.
So we return back to the airport and we're on the plane, and it's kind of established that kind of the rules are established of what's going on. We have Julie who's in there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to keep you safe. I'm not going to eat you." But he's like, "Not eat." And you're like, wow, he's saying lots of words, not just grunting.
Yeah.
And so that's important. I think that's important that he can actually like say something to her, like words.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if anybody else notices, I pay attention to the makeup on and stuff. This is when they start to roll back his makeup a little bit, where he doesn't like have quite as many scars. He's not as white, so he's already like coming a little bit more alive. If you're paying attention to his makeup,
cool. I do want to go back to the thing though. Like before they get to the plane, like I love the line where he's talking about how it's like strange that he's bringing a human back to the airport because no zombies ever do that. That's not a thing. And he's like, why do I have to be so weird? And I'm like,
he does. Well, I think that being weird is mentioned a lot in this, like that he is a weird zombie is mentioned all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like why, like Julie says, like, why are you like this? And he's like, why am I so weird? Like he knows he's different.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious that he's different. And he's very
emo. He's a very emo zombie.
He's in the hoodie.
Yeah.
So, but I find that in the plane that they kind of set up the rules of what's happening. Yeah. So Julie's like obviously scared. You can tell that she's kind of like looking around and being like, what's up within this plane? Because you see in this plane, if you were a zombie, would you actually, come back to a zombie place? Would you look around and be like, look, we've got like, I don't know, Hoarder's Den that looks really beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks really pretty. And he's snatched a snow globe and he puts it down and she's like, what the hell? This guy has a snow globe. Like, who is this guy? So I think that a lot of stuff is set up in this plane. Julie cries and R starts to eat more of Perry's brain. And we learn that Perry's dad became a zombie and then Julie shot him.
Yeah, and then that's one of the places, like in that memory, that's one of the places where the zombies are like super fast all of a sudden. When Julie and Perry encounter them in the memory, like the dad all those zombies start running at them.
Well, and they were fast when they were like attacking they were fast when they were attacking with the people in the room just like 3 seconds ago.
Yeah,
so,
I guess that's a good point too. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I can tell, they're kind of fast when they're attacking people. Otherwise, they're really slow. My feeling is maybe they speed up when they're around people.
Okay.
Yeah. So R comes back. Julie has a weapon.
Yeah, but she doesn't use it. She's just holding like a pen
she doesn't.
or something.
And
what is she? A knife, a pen? I don't even know what she has, but it's like
she just picks up something and she's like, I'm gonna hurt this guy. But then she doesn't really, which by the way is weird because she's like, I totally had a gun before and I had no problems using it.
Yeah, and like me, if I'm her, like first of all, I wouldn't fucking gone back to the fucking airport with the fucking zombie. I mean, that's number one. But if for some reason I had determined that was the best course of action, the first thing I would do if R went off and like left me alone, I would like be casing that airplane. I'd be casing the airplane for a weapon first, like before.
I would have just left this place.
Is there like I'm
out of here?
Is there not a fire extinguisher on that plane? Is there not like I don't know one of those trays for the in-flight, like anything, like
anything? Probably
in Shaun of the Dead, they were like using fucking records I wouldn't use a record. That's fucking stupid. But like seriously, there's nothing like made of metal or
blanket
anything.
that he has wrapped her in can be used as a weapon if she needed to.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, anything can actually be used as a weapon if you needed it to. But it is. I'm actually always surprised that she didn't try to leave sooner because, like, although he doesn't sleep, apparently he rests very deeply.
Yeah.
Right.
And he goes away to eat brains. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes away to eat brains so he can like find out stuff and know things. But then they're apparently going to hang out for a while. This is going to be like the time where they hang out in the plane and they get to know each other. And so Julie's going to try to figure out what's going on. And she starts asking the zombie R questions and he plays her music. And I mean, I think that Julie just gets curious about what's happening because I do think that there's a period where she looks at this guy and she's like, here's this zombie who saved me, who stared at me, who hasn't eaten me, and he's got like this weird like dragon horde of stuff that makes sense. It's really beautiful. And like, why is he different? Because she's curious, like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And I think that's what really ultimately keeps her here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could buy that too. And like you said, he gives her a blanket. Like he actually like tucks her in with a blanket. And he says like, or she says, why me? Why did you save me? And he says, don't cry. Right. And then he goes over and he puts on Patience by Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
And I'm going to lay some more lyrics on you there. Said woman, take it slow and it'll work itself out fine. All we need is just a little patience. And then that's when Julie says for the first time, Serena's favorite thing, right? I think you said later.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the line, Serena?
Yeah. She's like, what are you?
Well played.
Yeah. It is kind of weird watching this because like you know, if you kind of take the zombie thing out of it, I mean, he essentially kidnapped her.
Yes.
And it's like, are we watching her get Stockholm syndrome? You know, it's almost like you don't want her to start liking him. You're like, get out of there, like save yourself, you know, like, and that's where I don't know. I find it a little like it's kind of like a bad message, you know, like just wait and see if the kidnapper is a nice guy, you know, like maybe you'll fall in love with him, you know, just wait around. Like, no, that's not what you should be thinking, you know?
Well, it's almost like a bad old-timey romance novel where like you would get stolen and then you are like, well, I mean, this person seems great even though they're here. I mean, I guess I should just wait for rape. That will happen next. There is this point where it's kind of weird, but I do feel that because she's just really intrigued by like the zombie is very different. So she like looks at this and she's like, what is happening? And that is the one thing that kept me okay with what was happening. And I do feel that there was a part of her that was a little bit in shock. She's like, oh my God, I just watched like my team get killed. And she didn't really know what to do because she did look outside and she saw like all these zombies walking around. And she's like, in here is safe. Out there is bad. He told me it's bad. Because R says, don't go outside. Yeah. You know, it's not safe.
Well, before we get off that topic too about the kidnapping and everything, like my double feature recommendations are going to reflect this too. But this is like, there's a ton of like horror movies also that have this kind of trope or sort of horror romance movies, like where you get the Stockholm syndrome, the monster kidnapping you, like Beauty and the Beast, like being maybe the most famous of those. But like, you know, like there's all these like sea creatures kidnapping women, aliens kidnapping women, like if you watch old movies. So yeah, it's like definitely a through line in cinema history too.
Which is such a terrible message. Like when you actually think about it, you're like, oh, that's awful.
It's interesting. Like why? Yeah. And King Kong, like why are these stories so like
because we're possessions. Women are possessions. Just be kept. I mean, that's how R kind of sees her. I mean, he's supposed to be like a zombie who's, you know, a little more woke, but he's, you know, he's making mixtapes and whatever, but she's still a kind of a possession to him. So, you know, and is that because of Perry or is that because of him? He's a collector, right? He does collect things.
Interesting. So after like this all goes down, and she says, "What are you?" There's a scene where you kind of show his heart. You kind of see his heart inside his body, and it's kind of like a close up of it turning red and beating a little bit again.
Yeah.
So that's your first indication that something's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's this first, like, I think, like, obvious indication. Like I said, there, if you pay attention, you can see that there, like, the makeup choices for him is well done during earlier than that even. And so I will say that then kind of the next thing that happens is that Julie says she's hungry. She's like, hey, I need food. By the way, she never says I have to go pee. I guess she's just using the toilet there, which is gross.
Thank you. I had the same problem with the last movie we did, Little Monsters. I kept being like, where are these people going to the bathroom? Sorry.
I mean, there is probably a bathroom on the plane, and then like whatever, just flush it, and then it'll just end up on the ground. And
does it flush anymore?
I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
And wouldn't the zombies like? I don't know. Never mind. They probably wouldn't notice. But like, also something that kept bothering me is how is he powering the fucking record player? Like, is it like a battery operated one, like in the stand? Because they don't establish that. But anyway, so let's see.
Okay, so we're getting food. So we're getting food. We're moving on. And so I think the next point is Julie finally decides it is time to make an escape.
Yep, without a weapon, mind you. Nothing.
She doesn't need a weapon. She's got her bare hands and her brain. It's important to realize that R has told her that it is dangerous outside. She shouldn't go. And she's just like, you told me I could go soon. I've been hungry. We've been hanging out. But I now understand everything I need to know about you. I'm leaving this joint. So she's like, I'm leaving. He goes out to eat some brains, get some food, and she's gone.
Yeah, but he finds her like pretty immediately this time. So like he finds her and she's kind of surrounded by zombies. She's kind of hiding.
And she's done a bad job of escaping. Julie's not good at escaping.
No. Which
makes me kind of upset because listen, Julie has so far showed herself as mostly capable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now all of a sudden she's not capable as a female.
That is my main problem with the entire movie, to be honest. Like, I think that is the main thing that kept me from really liking it, is because I noticed that right away. And I was just like, come on, could you not made this a story where she's like a little smarter and like maybe there's an obstacle preventing her leaving, like an obvious one? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway.
she apparently is 100% just like not really capable. So she leaves and she gets surrounded by zombies because she smells like a human and food, and she's in the land of zombies.
Yeah, and so R finds her there and like helps her by saying, "Be dead." He tells her to be dead, and like that part was pretty funny because then she does this like super over the top like zombie impersonation with like the big zombie arms and like or whatever, and then he's like, "Too much."
Yeah, and he even talks about the fact that she is to the zombies out there like she just seems like newly dead to them. Yeah, she doesn't look so dead yet because she's new.
Yeah. So then they get the food, fruit cocktail and beer. Gross, but hey, whatever. Food is food,
you
I
get
guess.
what you get when you're like, trolling old airports.
Yeah, food is food. Food is food. And this scene is hilarious. Like, she asks what his name is, and he goes, and then she's like, and then he's like, this date is not going well. I want to die all over again. It's internal monologue. I can tell you like that scene, Serena. And like, what do you guys think R's actual name was? Like, she throws out a bunch and he doesn't respond to any of them. What? Like, I have one idea that I think is absolutely the correct answer, but like, what do you guys think?
Clearly it's Romeo.
No, I don't think it was.
I feel like he's a Ryan.
Exactly, he's Ryan. That's like the most common R name. He looks like a Ryan.
He's a Ryan.
Like, we can't, I mean, nobody's actually naming their kid Romeo anymore. For real.
Unless you're like Victoria Beckham.
Really? Did she name her kid Romeo?
Yeah.
For real.
Their kid's Romeo.
Okay, never mind. Unless you're Victoria Beckham.
I think there's more Romeos out there than you think.
Well, that's terrifying. No. Actually, I don't care. But
so we got Ryan and Julie hanging out on a bad date, eating brains secretly, and then beer and fruit cocktail.
I almost feel like I've had a worse date than that, but
oh, please, dear listener, tell us about your worst date than that. We'd love to hear from you. You can email us at
feedback at everyromcom.com.
That's correct. That's where we want to hear from you. But this is an important scene because it is like making that connection between them, and Julie is continuing to kind of see more and more that R is different. He's a different zombie.
Yeah, and then he's a name. Right. He's a person. He's an individual.
Right.
Yeah,
and that he knows he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Julie asks, "Are there others like you?" Which we don't get into yet, but yeah, we begin to see her curiosity factor coming up again. Like, and that connection to her idea where she wanted a cure. At the end of the section, R tells Julie to stick around for a few days, and Julie is eventually like, okay, yeah, it'll be safe then. Fine, I'll stick around.
As we're moving on into the movie, there's some scenes where they're getting to know each other. They're killing time at the airport. There's some really funny / cool scenes of them driving around in a red convertible on the runways. They're talking about his vinyl collection. He says it's more alive,
which is 100% what record hipsters say. Like, and
right, totally.
and I admit to being partly a record hipster, and like there's something that does feel intuitively true to me about this statement that records are more alive. I don't know why. It doesn't make any actual sense.
Julie chooses a record, Everybody's Got a Hungry Heart by Bruce Springsteen, which is very telling. This movie does do a really good job if you're paying attention to like picking very specific songs. Yeah. Some of the lyrics are, everybody needs a place to rest. Everybody wants to have a home. Don't make no difference what nobody says. Ain't nobody like to be alone. And then we kind of move on to a montage. They're
This is
looking at
everybody should have a zombie date montage.
yes.
I mean, they like put on sunglasses together. He learns to drive a car.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
it's silly time together. Come on, let's fall in love and have zombie montage together.
I like the hand slap game because like the game where you sit there and you try to slap each other's hands, like,
and he's really slow and he like doesn't.
I think I don't even see him move his hands, to be honest.
That's right. He's super
slow. He's watching her sleep, which is kind of creepy.
Yes, he needs to continue to be his creepy self. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, there are these elements that he's like a creeper, like that. Yes. So you're kind of like into it. You're like, oh, but he's cute. But then it's like, oh, but this is weird, like at this point you can see that M, who is R's best friend, is looking at the plane and can see that there's like lights on and they're playing music. So he's kind of like, in his zombie mind, like, like where's my best friend? Like, what's happening?
So it's interesting to me that M, if this is a very different film, M would at this point become like a weird jealous person and would be the person who would be like the protagonist or something.
Wait, do you mean the antagonist?
Antagonist, sorry, the antagonist. Yeah. He'd be the antagonist and he'd get angry and he'd bring like the Boneys or something to like break everything up.
Yeah, right. I'm glad it did not go down that way.
I was too, but when I first watched this film, I remember thinking to myself, dude, don't do M dirty like that. I remember literally thinking like that, being like, dude, don't do M dirty like that. Because even like the way he looked kind of like, I'm going to go get some shit to happen.
Yeah, it looked ominous. The way they filmed it was definitely ominous. I agree with you.
Yeah, and I was like, no, don't do M dirty like that. Because he's like a great guy. And I want you all to be best friends still. But yeah, I was very pleased that that's not the way it went.
I just want to know, Serena, do you have any more thoughts about what you were saying? You thought maybe she wanted Perry to come back, or?
Well, that she asked if he was going to come back like him, like R.
Yeah.
I think she says that specifically. And I think in her mind, she's kind of thinking that isn't necessarily such a bad thing.
Okay.
Because he obviously R has still retained some of his humanness. And then, R says no. And then Julie says, that she's really not that sad that he's gone because she thinks that she's been preparing for that for a long time. So preparing for the loss of Perry and probably everybody else in her life too.
Yeah, and that brings like such a note of like really like seriousness to the movie that's like that I don't know if the movie earns completely in terms of like the rest of the tone, but it does give you like a window into like what it might be like to live in a world like that where people are constantly dying. I don't know. Do you think it earns the line or the seriousness? Do you think it's good to have that there though?
Yeah. I think it shows a window into the other side. Remember, we don't really see the other side. We only see the zombie side of life. We don't really see the human side of life very much. And I think it kind of gives you a window into what like this, how the humans feel about this new world we're living in.
Yeah. So like Julie's pretty like a little bit sad about Perry, and so like R goes over and he plays yet another album for her, and he plays Bob Dylan's Shelter from the Storm. And like honestly, I don't even really like Bob Dylan, but like this actually did touch me like in this context. Like he goes and plays this record, he kind of touches his hand to her chest like in a kind of like I care about you way. And Julie asks him again, like, what are you? Or actually, I need you to say it, Serena. You're so much better.
What are you?
You're the official Julie. And then like, and some of the lyrics from Shelter from the Storm, which I never really paid attention to before, but like, 'twas in another lifetime, one of toil and blood, when blackness was a virtue, the road was full of mud. I came in from the wilderness, a creature void of form. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. And if I pass this way again, you can rest assured, I'll always do my best for her. On that I give my word. In a world of steel-eyed death and men who are fighting to be warm, come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. I'm like, fuck, you could almost write the song about the movie in a certain sense. It's like, like really well chosen. Like that's when and that like really noticing that is when I first started reevaluating the movie and being like, okay, this movie is better than I thought the first time I watched it. Yeah, like this is thoughtfully put together.
So if Julie had been stronger, you'd been like, man, this is a good film.
I would have, if Julie had been stronger, or if they made her
I can
choices
see that
make more
100%.
sense.
100%. I can see that,
Yeah.
Jen.
Or even maybe if she'd been played by someone a little bit more like, Tree from Happy Death Day, Jessica Roth. I think she, like just a little more sassiness, maybe. I don't know, something.
No, I feel you. I feel you on that. I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but yeah, I thought that was such a touching scene. Like, is that like Serena? Did that scene stick out to you, or like?
Yeah. I do like the scenes on the plane. I think they're funny and cute, even though there is that element of, kidnapping thing. It's a little disturbing, but I think overall it is getting to see like their relationship, I guess. Them falling for each other, if you will. Well, not really, but I guess he's already fallen, and she's just kind of like coming to terms with the fact that he's not all that bad.
After this, we kind of get it established, like R tells us that in his monologue that zombies can't sleep. R goes to eat more of Perry's brain. This time he sees Perry joining the zombie fighting crew, and then he sees himself killing Perry. Like, he sees himself coming towards Perry, who at this moment in his memories is himself, and then he spits the brain out. And I'm like, yeah, if I dreamed that I was eating myself, I'd probably like freak out too.
Yeah. But I feel like that scene too kind of like it shows that he is changing, that like his feelings are becoming more important than getting food.
Yeah.
I agree. You hit it for me. That is exactly what I feel that is about. Also, if you pay attention to his makeup, he becomes so much more warm. His tone of skin becomes so much more warm. He gets pinker at this point, and his scarring is less like pronounced.
Interesting. I'm glad that we have someone who pays attention to this in the podcast. Okay, then we see R kind of comes out of his freak out from spitting the brains out. He sees that Julie is gone again, and Julie has made her crappy escape number 2.
And she feels like maybe she's learned lessons from this, because now she's going to do it for reals. She's gone ahead, she's gotten out, and she's kind of fighting off the zombies, and she's still doing a really bad job of it, though.
But she has a head trimmer.
She has a weapon.
Like, where did she get the head trimmer?
Yeah, where did it come from? Like the weed whacker. Why? Where did that come from?
The airport landscaping crew maybe left it.
She just got it on the ground, maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, my headcanon for that is she like saw some topiary and it was just sitting there next to the topiary disused. But yeah,
but she at least has a weapon this time. Yeah. She at least has a weapon. But she is almost eaten by M, which would have been sad because M's pretty badass and we don't want him eating our heroine. R fights off M and a bunch of the other zombies, and he doesn't actually have to fight too hard, which is good. I think this sets the tone that R is actually kind of like respected among zombies. Yes.
Yeah.
He's like respected among the zombies, and they kind of like follow him, and they're like, oh, R says just not eat this chick. And so we're not going to.
So like, yeah, but like before like the zombies decide not to eat Julie, like M actually has a confrontation with R and he's like, hey, living, eat. And then like R's like, no. And he's like, eat. And then R's like, no again. He's like, eat. And like he's freaking out. I probably didn't do a very good M voice, but like he's serious the last eat. He's just like, what the fuck are you fucking with my dinner for?
Right. It's like if I run around with your like steak on your plate and I decided I wanted to love it or something. I mean, that's essentially what M thinks. He's like, why would you steal my steak? It's really nicely done. Why are you taking it home to put in your bed with you? Like, we're supposed to hang out and together, not be taking steaks home.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Right?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but, R's like, no, man. Like, we're not eating this one. And then the Boneys show up. And they're hostile. Now, this is where can I take a moment to talk about these Boneys?
100%.
Okay. So we're going to talk about the Boneys here. So the Boneys, I feel, are one of the kind of wasted opportunities in the Warm Bodies movie. And I can understand. So in the books, they actually have a hierarchy. There is an entire like world building around the zombies and the Boneys. And the Boneys like make choices and are like a governmental institution almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like the Grigio character, the general in the military.
Right.
They're the parallel for that. Yeah.
Right. And in here, they're just kind of like weird boogeymen that people don't really understand. And so they're kind of weird. You either needed to make them scarier and have a purpose, or you needed to not have them at all because they're just weird here. I don't understand what the purpose is.
Yeah, the funniest thing in the book with the Boneys was like at the beginning of the book, the Boneys actually marry R to some other zombie. Like they perform a weird Boney marriage ceremony. And so in the book, R's got like a zombie wife and these couple kids. They give them these kids and this like those.
Yeah, they have like little children together.
Yeah, which I think the kids you see showing up in the movie are supposed to be an homage to that. Basically, you occasionally see these couple kids like hanging out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I mean, I'm glad they didn't carry that part over to the movie. I think it would have been really
uncomfortably weird to try to explain.
Yeah.
You don't want like Game of Thrones type, machinations in a film that's like a very light and fluffy kind of like zombie film. But at the same time, I felt that the Boneys either needed to be like scarier and like at least have like some kind of rules and what they were doing. These, I just felt like they're like, hey, we're here and we're just like being crazy.
Yeah, which I think is like scary unto itself. Like that's pretty scary that they are just like.
Were you scared by the Boneys? I'm scared by everything, and I was not scared by Boneys.
I mean, not in particular, but like I understand like why. Because they weren't as human looking, I guess.
But they didn't heighten anything. When the Boneys come in, they didn't heighten anything.
I thought they heightened things because, like, for some reason, the Boneys are the fast ones, even though they're like have given up. Like that, I didn't understand. Like the Boneys are much faster in general than the other corpses are.
Well, because they're so light, they're only bone.
I guess, but like they're supposed to be the ones that gave up. They're the dude like lying on the floor, peeling his face off, and then he goes from that to being like, "I'm super fast. I'm the fucking Terminator."
Right?
I don't know.
It would have made more sense to me if the Boneys actually hunted other zombies.
Yeah, and that's almost implied in this scene. I feel like, or no, not in this scene. It's implied in a later scene. I feel like,
but nothing actually happened. Like I really wish they had taken the Boneys and done something more interesting with them because I felt that this was a missed opportunity in the Boneys to use them in something interesting in a fun way.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
with
that. Right here, so we bring in the Boneys here, and I'm just like, ooh, something's gonna happen with the Boneys. R is going against what like Boney rules are, or something with the Boneys, and then nothing.
I think all it does, it kind of serves to like make the Boneys come in and like before R and M were kind of, and the other zombies were kind of antagonistic against each other because he was taking their steak, as you said. But now that the Boneys come in, the Boneys and the corpses have been shown to be a little antagonistic towards each other. Yeah. And now that the Boneys are against R, M's like, well, I'm going to back up my dude, even if he does want to date a steak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then the other zombies are also like, we're also on your side because we respect you. So I guess you should take steak.
Yeah. So Julie and R start running off and like they're once again, like they somehow get away from this Boney, but then the Boneys have cornered them again. And then M just runs the Boneys down with an airport vehicle. And by the way, M is a much better driver than R for some reason.
Yeah, M must have been like, he must have like driven lots of cars or something. Like it's something he remembers.
Yeah, because he just has this puny little airport transport vehicle and he runs all those Boneys down and then gets them to get into the airport vehicle with them. And then they drive the airport vehicle to the red car. Then we get to that scene, right? Where like they're at the red car and more zombies have shown up. And once again, you're like, are the zombies going to attack Julie? Like, are the Boneys going to get them? But Julie thinks she's done for, and then she holds R's hand. And like, that is like the turning point event in the movie, basically. Would you say? Well, one of the turning point. We've talked about a couple other ones. But Julie holds R's hand. And this gesture, like you see that the zombies are stirring a little bit as much as they stir. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. They're becoming maybe less, they're noticing something. They're moving and they're looking around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so then R just takes Julie's hand and leads her through the crowd of zombies, and they drive off in the red convertible pursued by another Boney. And that is like my favorite image maybe in the whole movie. And it's in the book, a good image. It's in the book too. It's an image from the book, which I like.
Yeah.
Driving the red convertible, again red, through the rain at night. Like, beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's James Dean.
That is James Dean.
Okay, so now this is really arbitrary, guys, but we're just going to have the spoilers okay section. And one of the reasons is because I'm sick of not talking about spoilers. Would you guys agree with that, or
Yes.
are you? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, so moving on in the movie, R and Julie escape from the airport in the red car, and they're in the rain, and they find an abandoned house. Julie is hungry, she's wet, she's tired, and she needs sustenance. So they pull into this neighborhood that she says was one of the last neighborhoods that her father had evacuated. So there's probably food available. So they go into an abandoned house, and Julie finds this Polaroid camera, and she takes a picture of R, and he takes pictures of her. I think that's another scene too where you start to see where he really starts looking pretty human at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like he really isn't looking as corpsey, especially even in the picture, which in a Polaroid, which kind of makes everyone look terrible. And he looked like semi good. So she goes up to the bed. She goes upstairs to the bedroom and asks if he wants to come with her, but to sleep on the floor because she's like creeped out by abandoned houses. I'm like, that's what creeps you out? Like abandoned houses? All right, sure. And then while they're upstairs, the military from the human side goes past the house, and Julie tells R to hide, and she sees her father. And I think that's when she kind of, again, I think we're seeing like the battle between the two sides where she's like protecting R at this point.
But like what I don't get is if she wanted to go home, she could have easily just gone out to her dad and been like, "Oh, hi, Dad. I've been hiding in this abandoned house." It's not like he's going to be like, "Are there zombies in there?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would he even?
I agree. It was weird. It was weird that she let it go by. I'm just like, why didn't you just be like, "Hey, Dad, I've been hiding here because I didn't know how to get home or I needed help," and he'd be like, "Come on in, daughter."
Yeah, they're not going to search the house. Like,
no.
Like she could be like,
would they have just like shot her like on the spot?
I don't know. I don't think her dad would. Even he's not that crazy.
I don't know. That was kind of what was implied, like in the whole thing. Yeah, like that maybe if she had done that, I don't know. Maybe there was like some fear there. I don't know. But I see where you guys are coming from. Yes, why didn't she just like maybe because she was attached to R, so that's why.
Yeah.
I guess that's what the implication is.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you can read it, I guess, in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so then there's like more scenes of like, you know, she took off her shirt
to dry her clothes. Hours after she could have done this, though, it seems like. Doesn't it seem like they've been in there for a while and like she's taking pictures?
For sure. And like, why didn't she like look for some like other clothes? Like that's what immediately I thought that she was gonna do, but she didn't.
Yes. I would have been like, honestly, I would have been like casing that place for supplies, like immediately. Yes. Like, I don't know. It's
or at least sheets or something to be like, "Hi, I just want to be out of these wet, nasty clothes."
This is why this movie feels more like a fable or a fairy tale or a metaphor to me than it does like anything based in reality. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, and I guess only when I watch it as a fable can I like really immerse myself in it.
Agreed. There's definitely a lot of pieces where you're just like, I don't know if that's how I'd be acting during a zombie apocalypse.
We should also mention we see R watching her take off her shirt. Like we don't see any like obvious nudity. We see like the back of her bra and her back of her body, but like nothing salacious. But he's creeping her again.
Yeah, he's obviously like turned on. Like he's not that much of a zombie. He's getting like a zombie boner or something.
Yes, that is the important part. He might be getting a zombie boner.
Yeah.
So there is a pretty important scene here where Julie's talking to R from the bed, and she says, "It must be hard to be stuck in there. You know, I can see you trying. I think that's what people do. We try to be better, but people just kind of suck at it." Sorry, I'm like ad-libbing that.
Paraphrasing? Yeah,
paraphrasing. And she says, "I look at you and you try so much harder than any human in my city. You're a good person, R." And then I think this sentence kind of invokes in R like some guilt, perhaps. And then he tells Julie that he's the one that killed Perry. And he gives her his watch. He apologizes, and then Julie turns away. So that was kind of like, I don't know. I thought that was a good scene between them. Like maybe, I mean, it was showing that R had some kind of guilt for eating Perry's brains. I guess that was
and
the
character
point
growth
of that. Yeah.
Wait, one second. Do we think that that's why Julie actually leaves? Do we think it's because he admits that he eats Perry?
I mean, I thought so. Why? Do you have an alternative?
I was just curious. If that's why we think it. Because I was pretty sure that she should have thought that he probably was part of the killing anyways. And I'm like, are you just getting to this now, sweetheart? It was such this weird thing to me. I'm like, so he was there. Everyone's dying. He takes you away. Did you not think that he might have killed your boyfriend?
Doesn't she say, I kind of already knew that?
Yeah.
So there's a difference.
Like, why are you all of a sudden now upset?
Because
it was weird to me. Like, her leaving at that point was weird to me.
Okay, but she's been in denial, I think. I think she's been putting it out of her head, being in denial so she can survive the situation at the airport.
Okay.
And now that they're actually talking about it, now it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Now she can't deny what's going on. And she also has to deal with maybe guilt of liking R despite that he ate Perry. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, now it's real to her, and now she also has these conflicted feelings, and maybe she feels like, oh shit, I can't really like this zombie who ate my boyfriend. That's weird.
You can't like somebody who ate your boyfriend who you really weren't into anyways anymore, and you have admitted that you kind of wanted him dead, and you were prepared for that.
I mean, Sybil, I still think I'd be conflicted. I'd probably be conflicted if I liked somebody who ate anybody.
Because she's conflicted by her feelings. I like that answer better. Okay. And then we're going to get the important part. So then R then sleeps for the first time and dreams.
So in the dream, we go into R's dream, and they're in a field with Julie, Nora, Perry are talking about what they'd want to do in like a normal world scenario. Basically, it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Kind of. Yeah, in an ideal situation. Nora wants to be a nurse, heal people, find a cure for being a zombie. Julie thinks that someday they'll exhume the whole world. And then R's kind of watching this from a distance, right? Like, he's kind of coming upon them, having this conversation. And he's still a zombie, but not as zombie-ish. He's getting more human looking. And then Perry looks at R and is talking to him, and he says, "You can't dream, corpse. Dreaming's for humans." And then Julie kind of softens. You can kind of see, and she's like, she tells him to chill, and she says R can do what he wants to do, or something like that. Doesn't she say that?
Yeah, or she asks him what he wants to do, or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's something like, can we be anything? And I think he's talking about him and Julie.
Yeah, and then because Julie says, like, it's like he can do what he wants to do, or he can be what he wants to be. That's what Julie says. And then
there's like flirtation between them in that moment too.
Yeah, there is.
Like, you see Perry looking like, you can't be with her lover boy or something like that. Yeah, he says, you can't be with her lover boy, and then like Julie smiles at R and shrugs, because that's kind of a joke between them, that R shrugs all the time or something. And so she shrugs, she's speaking his language. They're like a team now against Perry, I guess. Poor dead Perry.
Poor dead Perry.
Right. Weird.
But I think part of this dream is, remember, because dreams are, they're your subconscious talking. I think part of that is our subconscious telling him that if he wants to be alive again, he can be whatever he wants. If he wants to be alive again, he can be.
Yeah.
But he has to do something. He has to continue to do what he's doing.
So after the dream, R wakes up to hear bird song. He wakes up from sleeping, which zombies aren't supposed to do, and hears bird song, and then Julie's gone. And so now we're going to go to meanwhile back at the ranch, because this has been intercutting with the back at the airport during this whole sequence. The zombies are changing back at the airport. So it starts out where you see M sees an ad at the airport where people are holding hands, maybe on a tropical location. And he remembers himself and a woman. You see him flash to a memory of himself holding hands too. And then other zombies are climbing up behind him and are looking at the same picture. And M asks one of the other zombies, "Do you feel it?" And the other zombie kind of nods. And like the other zombies, then M's heart and the other zombies' hearts begin to turn red and begin to beat just like the way ours did. And like I noticed that like I don't know if there was one woman in that crowd. It was like I think all zombie men. Like, and I wonder if that was like a deliberate choice by Jonathan Levine, if he's trying to say something about men in the movie, or if it just like he just likes men actors being there. What do you guys think?
I'm trying to think. I'm like, were there any women zombies at all?
There were.
Okay, I'm like,
yeah.
were there women zombies? I was not paying attention to the sex of my zombies.
Like in some of the other crowd scenes, you see women zombies, and like the opening scene, there's a woman zombie who theorizes used to be a trainer or something, a fitness trainer. Yeah, okay. But like in this one scene, I noticed though, I don't think I saw any women. So I was wondering if it was like supposed to be commenting on some way on men's hearts or men's emotions. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I guess I didn't really notice whether or not they were other women.
Good call, though. I don't know. Yeah.
So at this point, Boneys show up and they smell M. That like this is what I was talking about. Like Sybil, like you were saying, like it should have maybe the Boneys are trying to eat the corpses. Like right. It almost felt to me like he was smelling M. Like, are you food at that point?
Well, this is when he smells that he's becoming less like a zombie and more like a human.
Yeah. The Boneys don't like this, and they screech at M. And I'm like, why wouldn't the Boneys like this though? Because like, wouldn't that be more food for them? I don't know.
This is why I'm telling you, the Boney world is just a weird. It doesn't. The Boneys don't make sense. I don't. Yeah. I think the Boney relationship does not make sense in this film.
In the movie, but in the book, it makes sense.
In the book, it's fine. Yeah. In the movie, the translation does not work out. However, they decided to do it.
So the next sequence is my absolute favorite part. So after R wakes up and Julie's gone, there's this sort of like a breakup sequence almost, even though they weren't dating. It's set to this song Yamaha by Delta Spirit. And it's kind of electronic kind of vibe song and like pop song. And like some of the lyrics are so cold. I know you can't believe it. Sometimes you got to face the feeling when you don't care if you get up again. There's 1,000 things I will not understand. How are you dealing with the hell I put you through? If I had my way, I would be right there next to you. So it's like a breakup song, basically. And the hell I put
super emo now. He's like, I'm walking the streets alone.
And the hell I put you through. I mean, I feel like you could apply that to him eating her boyfriend. So like, I just feel like it's a great, like, emo zombie breakup song. And I love the shots here. The shots here are really great. Like you see R walking through this like empty wasteland with these like blank white billboards behind him. Like, in other zombie movies, those would definitely be covered with like old ads or something. But in this, it's just like a stark background to his like misery. And some of his voiceover here, it says, it's easier not to feel, then I wouldn't have to feel like this, which like is such a thing, like for human relationships. There's always so many points in life when you feel like, oh, I don't even want to feel anything, like people shutting themselves off from each other. It's such a human thing. But it's also a zombie thing. If he doesn't feel, he's just going to go back to being a zombie. It's such a good commentary on human relationships too, I thought.
I think that's exactly what they were going for.
I really enjoy that section just because breakups are hard, whether you're dead or alive.
Words of wisdom, Sybil. Words of wisdom. Yes. And then while this is going on with R, you see a parallel of Julie driving at first towards the city. Then she runs out of gas. Then you see her walking on this like deserted freeway towards the city wall. And then you see them both at one point look back towards the direction they came, back towards where each other would be. And you get these nice overhead shots of Julie walking towards the city, very dramatic. So the movie really opens up there. You know what I mean? You see them each alone in a big world. And good job, Jonathan Levine.
It almost makes you want to like know more about like the background of like what happened and the city being built and like what exactly is going on in like the human city. You kind of know, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there is that prequel novella. Have you read any of those, Sybil?
I have not, no.
Yeah. Are you interested in it, or is it?
No.
Not... Okay. Fair enough. Are you interested, Teresa? Do you want to know anything more about it?
Yes, but like in the abridged version.
She's like, I will read the Spark Notes, thank you.
Yeah,
the Wikipedia page will tell me all I need.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's That's how I roll.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. Where are we here? Okay,
we're
so
gonna have
go
R
ahead.
meets the zombies on the road.
Oh yeah, we're not quite there yet though, because first Julie gets to the city walls, and the military inspects her eye in particular to see if she's dead. Apparently your eye can tell people whether you're dead. And her dad like really questions her before. Like, it's a weird mix though. Okay, her dad like asks her if she's bit, right? And like wants to know if she's infected. Like, and he's supposed to be portrayed here as a hard ass, but like, if you were a hard ass, you would have people strip naked and go into a quarantine before getting into your city. You know what I'm saying?
He's like a hard ass, but he's like a prude. He's like, I don't want you to get naked either, okay?
But I feel like there'd be like a whole protocol, like in an actual hard ass zombie city. You know what I mean? There'd be like a containment unit, and you'd have to go in there, and people would like put you whatever.
Yeah, I had a harder time getting into a restaurant in San Francisco than she did. Last month.
100%.
What'd they make you do at the restaurant out of curiosity?
Well, it just wanted to have your like vaccine card like on.
I have to have
you.
your vaccine card. I need to make sure I have your ID that matches your vaccine card.
Yeah.
Show me you have a mask and a backup mask, please.
Yep. And then
at least the restaurant probably had better food than the city. So.
Questionable, but yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, her dad's actually not much of a hard ass. He welcomes her back eventually, hugs her, etc. She goes back into the city, and back in R's world, it starts raining on him. And all of a sudden, R realizes that he feels cold. And apparently zombies do not feel cold. And the song, again, that started this whole sequence, So Cold, I Know You Can't Believe It. What? These people are musical geniuses.
We will say, well, we should give a shout out to their musical director.
Their music supervisor. Yeah, I don't know. I should have looked it up, but I couldn't. I don't, sometimes the music supervisor like is choosing the music, and sometimes they're just getting the rights to it. And I didn't know in this case, like who was, I should have checked on that, but I've been sick. So
guess what? We're still just going to give a shout out. Whoever was, people can go like look it up on their own and enjoy that, but shout out to them.
Yeah.
So R meets the zombies on the road. Why they're walking on the road is because clearly they had feelings. They had feelings too, and they were like watching the hands being held. So they go out to look for R because R is one of their dudes. So you're finding out what's going on with these zombies.
Yeah, we got a good clip of this too. So we're gonna find out. R and M are gonna talk to each other. We're gonna find out what's been going on.
Boneys chased me out. Came to find you. Where is she?
Went home.
You okay?
No.
Bitches, man. Boneys looking for you. And her. You started something. I saw pictures last night. Memories. My mom. Summertime. Cream. Of wheat. A girl.
A dream.
A dream.
We are changing things.
We are.
We are. I have to tell her. Will you help? Help. Exhume.
They said, fuck yeah.
Bitches, man. Bitches.
Which one of you laughed at that part? Was it you?
I did. I love that line. He's like, bitches.
The one I have to hold back is when he says cream. Every time he says cream of wheat, I want to laugh because I'm like, why the fuck are you remembering cream of wheat of all things?
It's the important things of life, man.
Yeah.
Cream of wheat.
Yeah, my mom, summertime, cream of wheat. Anyway, Rob Corddry's so funny in that scene.
Oh, he's so good. He's so good. That whole scene. And then just like the deep breathing, the intense deep breathing that I don't think I noticed in the movie at all, but now that I'm listening to the clip, had me cracking up over here. Just, the most interesting phone call I've ever gotten. Cream of wheat.
Ew. If it's a phone call, I'm a little worried about it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it sounded like to me.
No.
Well, the zombies, now that they've had this very intense conversation and they know everything that's going on, they know that, they're bitches that leave them and they're having feelings now. They are going to march back towards the city so that they can essentially like raise, up what's happening. And they're still running from the Boneys. Because the Boneys,
they're not running from the Boneys. They're walking.
They're running in their own minds, but that means they're walking very slowly.
While Rocky Like the Hurricane plays over
Rocky Like a Hurricane plays over their slow walking.
It's the best. I love that dichotomy. I love that image, like that the rock song where you expect intensity and quickness, and they're just like,
right. So, but it's important for me to note that the Boneys move really fast.
Yes.
And they move very slow. So as far as I'm concerned, by the time they get there, Boneys are going to have killed everyone, at least in my mind.
100%.
So that they haven't is weird to me.
Unless the Boneys are so incompetent that because later they show, like, they try to excuse this by showing the Boneys looking like they're looking for directions or some crap.
You're like, does anybody know where I'm supposed to be going? And I not thought of that. It's cracking me up.
It's like they use the wrong atlas. I don't know. Like,
does anybody have a street map? So that's where they're headed. So they're headed, and they're going to be able to get into the city because, hey, R ate Perry's brains, and he has all the information, especially a convenient memory of a secret door.
Yeah.
That once again, for a badass, the city has a lot of unexplained entrances that are unprotected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Julia and Nora are talking in her room, and then Julia realizes that she's missing R. Aw, she misses her like zombie boyfriend.
And Nora kind of makes fun of her for it. Yeah.
Totally. So Julie's out on her balcony.
And this is like, okay, I'm embarrassed to say this is the first time I actually realized this was riffing on Romeo and Juliet for the whole movie. This is honestly the first time I'm like, oh, this is supposed to be Romeo and Juliet, isn't it? Oh yeah, R. Julie. Well, that's when I put it together. You guys knew this right at the beginning, right? And I was just like,
absolutely.
What? Serena, how about you?
Yeah, I guess it makes more. There's more references like that I'm picking up on as we go on. But yeah, I did kind of.
Yeah, the balcony scene's the first time it hit me. I'm like, oh yeah, shit.
Well, it's good to know that a good balcony scene will immediately make people think of Romeo and Juliet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
So good on you, Shakespeare. You should have like trademarked that crap. So R is below, and he says,
"Came to see you."
Right? Julie warns him that he'll get killed because, he's a freaking zombie. How did he get in anyways? Like, they almost killed her to get in here. She never asked that, by the way. Nora comes out and
that's a good point. Yeah,
right?
She did. Yeah, whatever. Okay, keep going.
Nora comes out and introduces by like, sup.
Yeah, she's like real casually greeting the zombies. I mean, how would you?
Because like she's like, whatever. Like, we just let zombies in this place. We're just very lackadaisical here. The world building in this is very strange.
Yes.
So Julie lets R in and says that she missed him, and then she's like, oh my God, I hug you, and you feel so much warmer. And she never mentions though that he's looking so much better because he super is. He's almost looking like a real human at this point. So Nora asks him a bunch of questions. Julie doesn't think that they'll be able to convince people that he's better than a regular zombie. Because they're trying to decide, whether they should tell people You know, because they know that the Boneys are coming. How are the Boneys not there yet? They're looking for directions. And they really need to get on board with the Boneys that are coming because people are going to die.
Yeah, that's when they decide they need to tell the dad no matter what.
Yes, exactly.
There's something
and that is the most
happening.
important thing, that they need to tell the dad no matter what. And R's on board with this, and he seems to be like, you know what, even if you don't care about zombies changing and that we might get injured, I'm really concerned that just humans are going to die because the Boneys are coming.
So at this point, they're like, well, we need to go and see the dad, but how are we going to get through town? Although R perfectly well got through town on his own just now. But
this is what I was about to say. I'm like, and I don't understand this next part because they walked around just fine just 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. But they decide that they're going to give R a makeover. And but this is hilarious though. It is hilarious. You hear Pretty Woman playing from the movie Pretty Woman. And then you look around and it turns out that Nora's just playing that on an iPod or something to pump them.
Because she's you can't, she's because you have to.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious because it's what's called diegetic music. You think it's on the soundtrack, but then it turns out to be in the world of the movie and you're like, oh shit, that's funny. And so it's no, change the music. It's not that funny. And I'm like, no, we should have done the whole thing to Pretty Woman. I would have been happier.
Yes. Okay. So then after the makeover, apparently Jennifer thinks that he looks like
Tom Cruise. Doesn't he?
Does he? Okay. Does anybody else think that he looked like Tom Cruise?
Was it just me? I thought he looked like Tom Cruise. The way they did the makeup, it was I don't know.
Are you saying Tom Cruise wears a lot of makeup?
Maybe. In some of his roles, he might wear makeup. I don't know. Well, anyway,
I think he just looked like a white dude.
Did he look like Tom Cruise in Interview with a Vampire?
I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's. I don't know.
There's a lot of makeup on him then.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying he looked like Tom Cruise to me. But the makeover really consists of they give him a shower and then they put fuckloads of makeup on him, which would take a lot more time.
That's the wrong color. That's the wrong. They try to brown him up, which is just makes him wrong. Everything about this makeup scene cracks me the hell up. Okay, it's it would be the best makeup YouTube tutorial ever.
And then,
but yes, they don't change his outfit, which is hey, I'm just been walking around in this in the slums for a while.
It's a torn up t-shirt that might have blood stains on it too. And it's I know. Yeah. And again, this is why this is a fable or a fairy tale, because they want to keep that metaphorical red hoodie for some reason. What is he, Red Riding Hood? I don't fucking know. Anyway.
No, James Dean. That's the James. Because doesn't James Dean have the red jacket?
He does have a red jacket. Thank you, Serena. There's a movie. Is it Rebel? Is it Rebel Without a Cause where he has a red jacket? Okay, that's where they're getting the James Dean from. Now,
but wasn't it leather?
Yeah,
but
it was leather. It was a red leather jacket. I get the red hoodie being the emo version of the red leather jacket.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so it's updated James Dean. Okay.
Okay, now we're coming to the final showdown. Oh my god. So we see a scene of the Boneys running, and that's where the scene where they're looking for directions, I'm pretty sure. Or they're sniffing things, but apparently their noses don't work very well because they're very late. And Nora and Julie and R go to visit Julie's dad's military encampment. They promise they're going to stick together, at which point Julie and Nora immediately go ahead of R and leave him behind to deal with a guard. I noticed.
Yep. Yep.
And R's the guard's kind of inspecting R a little bit, and then R's his internal monologue, say something human, and he really awkwardly goes, how are you? And then he's nailed it in his internal monologue. And I'm yeah, that's something human. We just go around saying how are you to people, and most people don't care what the answer is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Julie finally gets to her dad and tells him that the zombies are curing themselves. The dad says they are not becoming vegan, which to me seems like it's an offhand reference to Twilight, because they're the vegetarian vegan vampires or something. What do you guys think?
I didn't watch Twilight, so I have no idea.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You guys have literally neither of you have watched Twilight?
No. I think I watched the first one but I don't know it that well. I think it was like on at one point and I was like doing something else.
Well, this is probably
sparkly vampires are stupid.
Okay, but this is probably a function of me living in Korea for a while because like the Twilight books were some of the English books that were left in an apartment I lived in. And so I read all of them because I'm like, well, they're English and they're here and I don't have to pay a lot of money for them. And then like when the movies came out, they came to Korea. And so I'm like, oh, I'll watch them. And so I watched all of them. And mind you, I might have mocked the last one viciously, but like I still enjoyed watching them on a level. So
yeah.
I did see an interview where Jonathan Levine like said that he used to not like being compared to Twilight, but not because he thinks Twilight's like bad, but just because he like thought that like Warm Bodies was doing something different, but that he had a lot of respect for like the amount of the amount of like affection people have for Twilight. And like yeah. So I thought that was cool. They're not great works of art, but like I don't think they're as bad as people say they are either. So I'll say that for them. I think this might have been a reference to Twilight though, because like Edward describes himself as like a vegetarian vampire, him and his family. They're vampires that don't eat people, they hunt animals instead. Okay, anyway, before we go totally off a tangent, so then Julie's completely failing to convince her dad. She's leaving out a lot of important details. So R goes and tries to talk to Julie's dad instead. And like right at the moment John Malkovich is looking at him, Grigio is looking at him, he suddenly can't talk anymore. Like he just loses his words. And this is another unbelievable point. I feel like John Malkovich would just shoot him in the head and be done with it. But instead he goes on like some kind of monologue where he's like, things don't get better. Things get worse. And he's like describing like that you can't possibly be changing. You can't be cured. And it's like, do you guys buy this? I mean, I guess we've already covered this to death. Like we don't buy a lot of things, right?
No, I don't buy a lot of this. I think he would have been like, and what's over there? And your head, your brains now.
Yeah. But instead, like Nora holds a gun on Julie's dad. And so Julie and R can escape. And we have a whole bunch of chasey, runny, attack stuff going on here in the last part. This is the most boring part of the movie to me. I don't know if you guys like the action scenes or not, but
yeah, in general, I'm just like, there's a lot of running around, fast forward.
Yeah.
Whatever. Also, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like this whole section, once again, the whole section with the Boneys doesn't make sense to me. So I don't get this section. So I get it, what you're saying.
Yeah, like Julie and R run to where the M and the other zombies are like waiting, and it's like I don't even know what that's supposed to be, like some kind of holding area, but like there's like glass ceilings, and then the zombies, the Boneys start breaking through the glass ceilings and jumping onto them, and like then it's established that the corpses are going to fight the Boneys, so we see the corpses fighting the Boneys. And Julie and R run away, but one of the Boneys is running out, or a couple of the Boneys running after them, and Julie and R have to fight off the Boneys. Look at me like speed reading through this because I'm just like, I don't care. Like,
that all takes place in a stadium, in the book. So I wonder if that's supposed to be like an homage to like the stadium.
I thought they were all living in the stadium in the book. Like I thought all the humans were confined.
There were
to
some
the
points where you could tell that they were definitely in a stadium.
Yeah, because it's all in a stadium.
Yeah, but like in the book though, Sybil, I think what I've read so far, aren't the humans meant to all be living in the stadium?
Yeah, they're all in the right. They're all in a big stadium.
Yeah, they don't live in the whole city. They just live in that stadium.
Yeah, they just live in that stadium.
Which is,
but that's why I'm just like, that's why the fight takes place in a stadium.
Yeah.
Like I think the glass ceiling is supposed to be like the stadium ceiling.
Yeah. So like. The important part of this whole fight, though, is that at one point you see a soldier getting attacked by a Boney, and then a corpse rescues the soldier. And then the soldiers start realizing that the corpses are fighting the Boneys, and the soldiers realize the corpses are changing. They realize that they're changing. And there's a great scene where, like, all the corpses are fighting the Boneys. The soldiers are like, who do we shoot? And then, like, they decide they're going to start shooting the Boneys. And then as they all move into the crowd of corpses to help them fight the Boneys, M is like waving hi to every soldier, like, hi, hello, hi. Like that was so cute. So the soldiers are radioing Grigio to tell them the corpses are fighting the Boneys. So he now has this information. But R and Julie have been chased by the Boneys out a doorway that goes to nowhere. Why are there always these doorways that go absolutely nowhere in movies?
Because seriously, if the Winchester House can do it, why don't you?
So they go to this doorway that leads to like the sky and like under the stadium, and they will die if they fall off of it, obviously. But they're surrounded by Boneys. They're not going to be able to get away. It's like basically Julie can be like eaten and killed by these Boneys, or she can jump off this building. And so R tells her, like, keep you safe again. And he holds on to Julie, and he has them both fall backwards into a pond that just happens to be down there, which I'm not as bothered by the pond, but like, I'm wondering, like, and I tried to look this up and I couldn't find any information. Would you be able to control the way you actually fell so that he lands
I have no
first?
idea. But once again, this is like a fable fairy tale, right?
Yeah. And I like that, like, it mirrors the Romeo and Juliet story, and that they are, like, in a way committing suicide together. Like, it is possible that both of them will die. It seems likely that R would die from this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
if he's not already dead, which is still kind of like up for debate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so they fall backwards into the pond. R hits his head. And at that moment, I thought they were going to have him die, maybe. Or I thought she would revive him by kissing him, which is very fairy tale. But that doesn't happen. I feel. Would you like that or not like that? I would have liked that.
What, that she gave him like mouth to mouth?
Yeah, or if she gives him like the kiss of life or something, like a Snow White or Sleeping Beauty kind of a thing. What do you think?
Nah, I don't care either way.
Okay.
I don't know what I thought. Yeah, I mean, that scene is very kind of unbelievable because that's a really high. Like, she would still be like injured.
She'd be so
fall.
Like, just, and it's not enough water either.
Yeah.
Like, just the impact of like him hitting the bottom, like she would still feel that.
Yeah, that's true too. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was still contemplating, would he even be able to control the way he landed?
They'd both just be fucked. They should have both just died, and then that was it. Then they come back
in the end of them, and then we should have mourned them. So the end.
And they both. Then she becomes a zombie, and then they like have their zombie.
Right. Yeah, I would accept that too. I would accept that too. Mm-hmm. Well, in any case, that doesn't happen. R is somehow still okay, and then they kiss, and then as they kiss, you see R's eyes turn back to a normal bright blue color, and I guess his pupils become bigger or something like that. Mm-hmm. And just as this happens, R is shot because her dad and his troops have found them. And I have a clip of this really quick of the interaction then that happens between Julie and her dad.
Julie, move now.
Dad, you have to listen to me. I know we lost everybody. I know you lost Mom. But you and me, we are still here. We can fix all this. We can start over. They need our help. Please, Dad. Look at him. He's different. He's bleeding. He's bleeding, Dad. Corpses don't bleed. Oh, he's alive. You're alive. Does it hurt? Yeah.
Sir.
And then at the end of that scene, you see the soldiers being like, "Hey, should we be really shooting this guy?" Like,
right? They like put their weapons down. Like, what? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I do find it. They are quick to like change their minds, though.
Yeah. 100%. And again, it's kind of unbelievable, but I guess like I'm sick of saying the word unbelievable. You accept the movie or you don't, I guess.
I definitely think that there's a bunch of the movie that you have to suspend your disbelief for.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're at the end of the film and we're tying everything up very nice and neatly with a bow. Okay. So you end with, on the one hand, getting shot in the chest hurt, like a lot. But on the other, it felt good to bleed, to feel pain, to feel love. This is a line from R about what it's like to, become alive again.
Yeah.
And you see scenes of corpses and humans killing all the Boneys who are obviously too far gone to change. Zombies are learning to live again, so they're teaching zombies to catch. They have them like little kids playing hide and seek, and I guess they're not worried about zombies actually eating children at this point.
And I didn't check on this. I should have checked on this. I'm pretty sure Jonathan Levine is the one playing catch with the zombie in that scene. Like,
very cool.
I'm pretty sure I saw that. But anyway, yeah.
The key to the cure is acceptance by the humans. This is how the world will be exhumed. scenes of women helping M to open an umbrella. So like you think that, M might actually find love again because, he's kind of a romantic in this.
Yeah, but he's a little creepy too. And I think he might have been creepy to begin with, like in his human life, because like she helps him open the umbrella, and then she doesn't want to be under the umbrella, but he follows with her with the umbrella anyway, and he's like, "You're kind of pretty," and like blah blah blah.
Well,
and all
M in the
stuff.
book. So M in the book is really different. He's morbidly obese, and he's like a kind of like a racist horn dog.
Really?
Yeah. He is kind of a very different creature in the books.
Okay.
So R decides to stay just R and doesn't want his old life. He wants the one that he's created now. So he's happy with who he is, even if maybe part of that is maybe taking on some of Perry. And the last shot is all of the wall coming down that's kept the kind of two races apart, or two peoples apart.
Yeah, well, Julie and R just like sitting on the edge of some, I don't know, building, like watching the wall
watching it all come down.
And like she's all like leaning her head on his shoulder and stuff like that. So what do you guys think of this end? What do you think of the end parts of the movie in general?
I thought the scenes were cute, seeing like the interactions. It's very like touching, seeing the humans and the zombies like come together or whatever. Yeah, like you said, it tied it up very, very nicely at the end.
I found it was like a satisfying ending. I do wish that it had a little bit more depth at the very end. But then again, the movie kind of like was a little glossier than the book does.
What would give you depth at the end? What would you want from that? Like,
well, there's something that the movie doesn't and the book does, is that the movie, the Colonel stays alive. And in the book, he's fully dead. And I think that gives a lot more like depth to what's happening between like, kind of the two. It's like a changing of the guards.
Oh yeah, it gives it. Oh, so changing the guards like meaning, you mean? Okay, as opposed to like, I thought you meant stakes, like it would make it like so some.
Well, I mean the stakes for sure, but also just the changing of the guards. So like essentially, you've lost the person who like said this is how we lived our life.
Okay,
you're now going to live, because now the Boneys are gone, and the general on the other side is gone. The Colonel is gone, and now we get to build. We actually get to create a new world.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah, I can see that. The book does do a lot of different thematic elements a lot more strongly. Yeah.
From what I've read, the book's a lot darker too. It's just it's kind of a darker book. This is very light and fluffy, which I was fine with. Like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I think that it did a very good job with what it was doing. But there are points where I was like, well, the book was really good too. So it's one of those things where you can enjoy both elements and like them for different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the big question, do you guys think that you would be capable of falling in love with a zombie if they were like R?
No.
Just Sybil's like, no. Sybil's like, no. Karina?
There were some points where like, even the scene where they like, at the end where they like passionately kiss. And like, all I could really think was like, when was the last time he brushed his teeth?
Yeah, it's super dead mouth. What kind of chunks of weird human and brain does he have in his teeth?
Yeah. I just couldn't get over that. I was like, yeah, he's like super hot. Like, I get it. But I'd be like, all right, maybe take a shower, maybe like brush your teeth. I mean, I guess he did take a shower.
He did take a shower, but I don't know when he brushed his teeth last.
Yeah, the teeth brushing. I was just like,
I left that out of the montage. Yeah, the makeover montage.
He's got like a death breath.
That would have gone a long way to help improve the makeover too, if they just brushed his teeth. Like, I don't know.
Yes. Let's say they did brush his teeth. Okay, let's say that we missed it and they were like a full cleaning.
Okay. Yeah.
Full cleaning.
Yes. Yes.
Still.
So wait, Serena, so if they brushed his teeth, you could fall in love with the zombie?
Sure, yeah. Okay.
He's gonna be pretty cold though.
I'll just be that person. Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna be probably.
What if it was someone you already loved?
Yeah, like I was gonna be probably not. Maybe if Lee turned into a zombie, I could make an exception. Like, yeah.
That's the part too. We're like, well, what if
it was already like somebody I love? I bet I could, because then it's just like that. I'm now just like putting up with just like another thing. Like, oh, now you're a zombie? God, okay.
It's good. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so then I've got this thing I made, and it may or may not work because you guys haven't seen some of the same things, but we'll just try.
I didn't actually know what almost any of these people
are. All right, well, ones that you don't know, you can abstain from that one, okay? How about that?
Okay.
or you can just make your best guess. So I wanted to set up the Fuck, Marry, Kill Monster Edition, okay? Because in honor of the tradition of people falling in love with monsters or having monsters kidnap them and try to fall in love with them. So the first batch we've got, so you've got to choose, we know the rules of this. You have to choose one to fuck, one to marry, one to kill, okay? And I'm assuming if you marry them, you also get to fuck them in my world. Okay. Anyway, so the first grouping is R from Warm Bodies, our main character, Jacob or Edward from Twilight. And do you guys know enough about Jacob and Edward from Twilight to make a guess on this? Okay,
I do, yeah.
So Sybil's out on this round. Sybil's out on this round. So Serena, you're in on this round.
Okay.
So do you want to go first or should I?
You can go. Yeah, you go first.
Okay, so I would marry Jacob because I'm Team Jacob and I like werewolves better. And I mean, so if you have a fucking werewolf, you've got a fucking transportation, a pet, somebody to keep you warm, and a hot guy. Because the wolves are huge in Twilight, so she could just like ride on Jacob's back. She could have like
I've got
fucking awesome time.
I've got to groom something.
No,
I have to pick up after him sometimes.
But anyway, I would marry Jacob. I would fuck Edward, and then he'd be so sad because like I broke his heart because he was like a freaking virgin, even though he was 100 years old. He'd be and
wait, like, Edward's a virgin, dude. That guy's got no play.
No, he's been saving himself. He's written by a Mormon.
Oh my god,
he's written by a Mormon.
What is wrong with these books? Oh my god.
Anyway, so I would somehow find it. No, never mind. I'm fucking R. Never mind. I changed my mind. I'm fucking R because Edward is.
Are you fucking R while he's a zombie?
Yes, I'm fucking him because I'm going to tell you why. Because in Twilight, Edward's like sperm is so powerful that she gets pregnant with a vampire baby the very first time they have sex, and like it endangers her life. Condom. Like maybe. I think his vampire sperm might break the condom. I don't fucking know how it works. Anyway, I'm not taking a chance on it. And she gets a bunch of bruises too. So I'm like, no, not happening. So
okay.
Fuck R, marry Jacob, kill Edward. Just dead. All right. Sorry. All right. Anyone? Any other takers
Edward.
on this round?
You're a virgin. You've made poor choices with your life.
God. I guess I'd kill Jacob because I'm allergic to dogs.
Okay.
That wouldn't work out.
Okay.
Probably fuck R and marry Edward.
Why are you going to marry Edward?
I don't know why. I don't know. I'm just because I feel like you'd have like a better life. Like,
he does
what does R have to offer?
Yeah.
Like, what does R have to offer? Like, yeah, he's got yeah, Edward definitely has a nice house. Like, he's had time to like accumulate wealth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm thinking long term here.
Yep. But you will be pregnant with a vampire baby if you're not careful. So careful on that.
Yeah. Well, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do.
Okay, our next batch, we've got R. Louis from Interview with the Vampire, played by Brad Pitt in the movie. Lestat from Interview with the Vampire, played by Tom Cruise in the movie.
I can take this because I barely get to play the other one because I didn't know any of them. All right, so I 100% fuck Lestat because that dude's hot. and he knows what to do. He'd probably kill me.
Even the Tom Cruise
version? I don't even move farther forward because I'm just dead because he like drained me.
Yeah, probably,
right? And then, I'm pretty sure that I'm just going to marry Louis. So he's got his stuff together. And although he's tormented, I can handle that. And then, I'll kill R because like he's already dead. He's not going to care.
But he does care. We just spent the whole time talking about it.
Nah, he's fine. He's really emo. He's cool.
Okay. Serena, do you have any comment on this batch or?
I would probably say kill Lestat. Sorry, marry Louis and fuck R.
I'm the same with you, Serena.
I don't like the Tom. This is the Tom Cruise version of Lestat.
I'm okay with that. I'm so okay with it.
No.
But I'm on your team, Serena, because like Sybil said, Lestat would fucking kill me. So I'm not gonna.
I'm okay with that. That's a good way to go.
I'm gonna kill Lestat fucking first. I'm gonna teach Louis how to have good sex by marrying him. And
I don't think Louis is ever gonna have good sex. He's way too like emo.
Oh man, I'm emo too, man. We could work together. So, he's probably a Scorpio.
It's gonna be like, oh my god, and look at my pretty hair.
I know he does have great hair.
Such pretty hair. So much pretty hair in Interview with Vampire. Just so much pretty hair all together.
Also he likes to read and we could chill. We'd have a good life. Yeah. Okay, next batch. We have R. Amphibian Man from The Shape of Water and Dracula from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I would definitely kill Amphibian Man. Like 100%.
That guy dies. That guy dies.
Super creep town.
Yeah, no, he goes death fast. I electrocute him in that tub.
Oh,
dead. Super dead fast.
This is the saddest shit I've ever heard. Oh my god.
Yep.
Okay,
and I like sea creatures. I do, but that guy was spooky.
Okay, what creepy. Next? What's next?
Yeah. Where do you go next, Serena?
I would probably marry Dracula. He's got a nice house. I'm really thinking like long term here.
I feel you. I feel you. I'm having the problem that he might kill me, but it might be a while. Yeah. He might be like, this seems all right.
I mean, he's a count. I would be royalty. That's cool.
And have nice clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of creepy looking at some point, but I'm okay with it.
So you're both marrying Dracula fucking R then and killing Amphibian Man?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna fuck Amphibian Man because I feel fucking sorry for him because he's a nice guy, and it would be super weird, mind you.
Jennifer's true self comes out. Fuck him because I feel sorry for him.
Your two friends are like all like, you're being like, why? What's wrong with her? Okay.
But in the movie though, also like Sally Hawkins' character seems to be in some kind of ecstatic state when they have sex too. So like I think it's probably good. I don't know. It's weird. It's fucking weird, but it's probably good. And then
she does make her entire bathroom a weird water tub thing.
Yeah. Like she's obsessed with this dude, right? So like, but I wouldn't marry him because I don't want to live under the sea for the rest of my life. It's just not my thing. Mm-hmm. So, and then in this case, I'd have to kill R. I'm really sorry, R. I don't want to kill you, but like, I feel more sorry for Amphibian Man because he was like trapped in that water tank by the evil scientists. And then I would marry Dracula because that was like my big crush when I was 15 years old. And yeah, you're right. It's risky because he keeps these other brides that he's just kind of keeping in this like harem, this like little sad harem. But I would just like totally. I would hope to be his Mina. I would hope that I was like his
totally
the deal. He does have I would redecorate that fucking house though. It's looking sad.
Yeah, no, it's creepy. Like you're like, sorry, sir, I need to get some like nicer stuff in here. Can we open some windows? I need an open concept with some better windows.
Yeah, and please don't turn into a pile of rats around me. That would be just keep that away.
Can you work on the hair and the head thing the forehead thing you got going on sometime?
Okay, we're almost done. We've got 2 more batches. We've got R, Jennifer from Jennifer's Body, and the Goblin King.
I don't think I've seen Jennifer's Body.
Okay. It's basically Megan Fox looking hot, but she's also a demon.
Right. That's why I was about to say, so you fuck Jennifer from Jennifer's Body, but you do not marry her. You marry the Goblin King because I think he actually knows how to take care of you. And then once again, R dies.
I would say kill Jennifer from Jennifer's Body just because I don't know that one. And yes, marry the Goblin King and fuck R.
Yeah. And I'm with Serena on this one. I'm killing Jennifer from Jennifer's Body because she's fucking dangerous. She's fucking hot, but she's fucking dangerous. Also,
clearly, I don't mind fucking danger.
Also, we're both named Jennifer. It would just be weird. It's like, I don't know. And then, and also I like R better. So I'd fuck R and be like, sorry, R, go find the Julie. Okay. Have a good life. And then, of course, I'd marry the fucking Goblin King. Are you? Although,
right?
But here's what's happening at the Goblin King's house. Like we're gonna like move the goblins out of the room sometimes. Like Lee told me that
I'm getting my own house.
Okay.
The Goblin King can just make me a better home.
Okay. Like Lee was telling me, like, what if the Goblin King wouldn't budge and like he needed those goblins to be around him at all times, and so you'd be stuck living with him and the goblins.
Yeah, no, don't try to change the Goblin King. He's been living that way a long time. I just need to like get my own house.
Okay. So you think he'd agree to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's fine with that. He's the Goblin King. Yeah. He's like, I can make any of your wishes come true here.
Yeah, I agree. I see what you're saying. Okay. So the last one, this is my favorite because it's really bizarre. We have
this
R.
one's so fucked up. I don't even know what to do about the situation.
True. We have R, the original Candyman, and then we have Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Oh, okay. So I have not seen Hellraiser, but I know what he looks like. And so explain to me what and then Candyman, I know what he looks like too. So he just comes out and he kills you from mirrors, right?
Yeah, but there's also like a love story in that movie where he's like in love with this woman that like I think it's implied
but
she's
he's
a
human, right? He's like a human person.
He's with a chest full of bees, and he has a chest full
he's full of bees. Oh my god!
He opens his coat, and all these bees will come out.
No, okay, I don't know what to do. So okay, and then Pinhead from Hellraiser, he's like a demon, right?
It's something like that, like an interdimensional being, and he's like into BDSM,
like from another dimension. It's really confusing.
And he's like,
is he gonna have like a weird? Is he gonna have like a weird, like I don't know, like a weird penis?
I don't remember that much about the movies or if they showed anything like that. But he's
right. He's gonna have some kind of weird, like he's gonna have some kind of weird, like tentacle penis. God damn it!
And he's a sadist. He's into sadism.
Yeah.
So
okay, so he's gonna die.
Okay,
he really is.
He's gonna die. I'm not even messing with him. He's gonna die. I'm okay about dangerous sex, but I'm not okay with him. And then I'm gonna clearly marry R, and that guess that means I have to fuck Candyman. I'm just gonna hope I don't get stung to death, which is still dangerous sex, by the way.
I mean, I just want to kill both Candyman and Pinhead.
Yes.
Well, you gotta choose one. Okay, I'm gonna do mine. I'll do mine. So here's my thoughts.
Okay, go.
Like, I'm gonna marry R because I think he's the best long-term bet. Even if he's still a zombie, I think I could handle him better, right? But like, I'm gonna kill Pinhead because I am not into having pain inflicted on me. Plus, he's completely unpredictable. Fuck that. And then I'm gonna fuck Candyman. I almost considered marrying Candyman because I'm like, well, the bees would be really useful if you had a garden or something. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe if we could get him to control the bees. Plus, like he means well. Like, you feel like Candyman means well. Like, he has had his heart broken. He had terrible racial injustice, like, visited upon him. Like, you know, I can kind of understand his vibe. But but I'm gonna fuck him in this case because, like, I just don't know if the bees can be kept under control. Plus, he like lives in like an abandoned tenement, and like that's not gonna work. So I'm sure even R and I can find a better home than that. So that's where I come down.
Yeah. Okay. So we're there. We're both there. Okay. So Serena, you on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the same scenario, I guess. Sure.
I think it's pretty much the only
Cabrini Green. I definitely don't want to live in Cabrini Green, so we're not marrying Candyman. Marrying R, killing Pinhead.
Yeah, Pinhead is not good news. Not
can
good news at all.
Can roofies be involved? I don't know.
Wait, what?
I'm just like Candyman's just always asleep.
Oh, he's asleep with the bees,
or just like roofie myself.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Would the bees be asleep or not, though? That's the bees are the more important part. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need like a beekeeper or something, or that weird like that mist or whatever they have, the steam.
It's smoke. It's smoke. It's just smoke.
It's just smoke. You just like smoke them out, and then you're like, all right, let's do this.
Well, thank you guys for playing this like ridiculous game with me.
Best part of the podcast today.
So like now we'll be back to the movie, back to seriousness. Like, what are some people's favorite scenes from the film?
So I do really like the scenes where Julie says, "What are you?" Like, for some reason, I don't know. I just like those scenes. I like the way she says them. It kind of shows like her confusion and her conflict. I do really like the music in this movie, and I really love the use of John Waite's "Missing You."
Yes,
especially I guess the scene where he like sees her initially, like in the pharmacy scene. That is my
favorite scene.
Yeah, I do. I just love because I love that song, and it's such like 80s cheesiness, but I don't really think 80s songs are cheesy. Like, I actually think that they're like legitimately enjoyable. Oh, and then of course the Pretty Woman scene. I really did like that scene where they started playing Pretty Woman and the makeover scene, and are kind of, well, it's Nicholas Hoult, but he's got a really good dumb face. You know what I mean? And he's got some good dumb faces in that scene. Like, oh, these girls are putting makeup on me. Like, I don't know. I just found it really hilarious.
So, we never get around to talking. We never get around to talking about how good Nicholas Holt's facial expressions are throughout the whole movie. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, he has to carry so much emotion, so much comedy just on his face because he's not speaking. And it's just like, the way he contorts his face sometimes. Like, there's one in the scene where they're driving in the car. There's one like that, like where I'm just like, oh my God, look at how ridiculous he looks, but like perfect and adorable at the same time. I'm just like, oh yeah.
He can do a lot. It's what makes him a great comedic actor, is that he can do so much with his face. It's also why he can play so deadpan in something and still make you laugh hysterically.
And Sybil, what about your favorites?
One of my favorite scenes is the one you just spoke of, Serena, as I love when R first sees Julie and he comes in and all the zombies are behind him. And I love the chaos of that scene too. And then he looks at her and Missing You plays and everything kind of slows down for him because he's love struck. He is starstruck by her. But like there's all this death and like people are dying around him. And she gets out this giant gun. But he's like, oh yeah, I'm in love with this chick. She's amazing. But he doesn't really know what love is yet. He just knows that he's fascinated by her. So that's one of my favorites. And then one of my other favorites is actually just the scene where all the zombies start looking at the poster where the two hands are being held, and M looks over and he's like, do you feel it? Do you feel it? And their hearts light up.
That's a very sweet scene.
Yeah, I just really like the filming of that. I thought it was really beautifully shot.
So my favorite scenes, like I mentioned already, I love the breakup scene. Well, not breakup because they weren't together, but when Julie and R go their separate ways because Julie's run off without R and he's walking past the billboards and she's walking towards the city. The way that was shot and the music and everything is so beautiful in that one. The image of them riding in the rain in the convertible is probably the one I'm going to take away from the movie and remember years from now. I think it's just like one of those evocative images. Like, I don't know why it gets me so much. It's almost like a metaphor, just being so open to the elements and being together. And yeah, something about it just gets me in my heart, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And then the end section. I really like the end section where the people are teaching the zombies how to live. Like, I always like this kind of stuff in movies and stories, though. I'm like one of those people who likes like the 10 different endings for Lord of the Rings. I'm like, oh yes, I need to see how each one of these stories is tied up, please. Like, I'm that person.
Know thyself.
Well, yeah. I love that stuff. I'm like, so what is the actual like result of all this now? Like, what are the consequences of this ending? Yeah, I want to see like the zombies learning to live again. Anyway, yeah. So wow, that finally brings us to the double feature recommendations. So for double feature recommendations, I decided to go with like the thematic element of falling in love with a monster. So first, I have Twilight as a double feature recommendation. And I know that Twilight's not like some super great movie, but it is actually kind of entertaining. Like, I have watched it even more than once. And I think there are a lot of parallels because Twilight is also trying to use the Romeo and Juliet story. I think actually New Moon is using the Romeo and Juliet story particularly, but that series does use Romeo and Juliet too. And there's just a lot of parallels of being from two different worlds. And obviously the paleness of the main male character is a through line, and just objections from both sides about being involved in the relationship. So I think it would make a good double feature with Warm Bodies. And then the second one I had was The Shape of Water, directed by Guillermo del Toro. You guys were super creeped out by the fish man guy, the amphibian man. Mm-hmm. And like, I can't say that like when I watched the movie, I was like, oh yes, I want to date him. Like, okay, only in the game. But I did find the love story part of it like romantic, like the way it was played in the movie. And just the idea of being able to love otherness and see past like so many physical differences in the case of that movie was appealing to me. And there's a lot more going on in that movie too, like different themes about, I think, like racism and sexism in the 1950s. So it's really beautifully shot too, like everything by Guillermo del Toro is. So I would recommend that. And then finally, I thought of Jean Cocteau's La Belle et la Bête, the early Beauty and the Beast black and white film. So much cool imagery in that movie. And it's another like being kidnapped by a monster situation. And yeah. And like the Beast can actually talk a little bit, but he's a little bit terse. He doesn't talk that much. And I think it's just a beautiful movie that everybody should see once if they haven't seen it before. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people see that like if you have like a film studies course or something, but otherwise you totally don't get to see that. And you had me watch that in college and it was so beautiful. I loved watching it. I try to show people whenever I get a chance.
Huh. I didn't know I did that. Okay.
Yeah. So my three favorites are Train to Busan And I picked this one because, like I said, I haven't seen that many horror films, but for zombie films, I've seen a few. And this is actually probably one of my favorite, like, not funny zombie films. And it made me think of this one just because it's a really well done kind of zombie film with a slow and fast zombies.
I used to live in Busan, so yeah,
it's a good one. I like it.
Movie.
It has a heartwarming tale a little bit, and it's very like lots of people die.
Yep.
Lots of good death. And then Zombieland, which is my absolutely 100% favorite zombie film, just because it's funny and I like it. It has the same kind of snark as Warm Bodies does.
Yeah.
And then I picked 12 Monkeys, which has nothing to do with zombies, but I felt that the filming was a bit the same.
Huh.
Has the same kind of tone to it, like some of the grittiness and the darkness to it is there.
Well, they're definitely both apocalyptic films, yeah. And also films about, like, how should we live in an apocalyptic era, and a guy who's struggling to find love amidst being an automaton, basically. I can see the themes.
So, yeah, I definitely thought, the first time I saw Warm Bodies, I was like, wow, I'm going to go watch 12 Monkeys when I get home. And that's what I did.
So, the 3 movies I picked for double feature, triple feature recommendation. The Girl with All the Gifts. I talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the podcast. I just think that it is a zombie movie, and I feel like it has some of the same themes as Warm Bodies does, as far as zombies not being what you think they are.
Yeah.
And then this kind of conflict between humans and zombies, and, you know, trying to find that connection, I guess. It's a really great movie. I don't want to give anything away because there's so much to give away. But if you haven't seen the movie, I think you should really go see The Girl with All the Gifts. I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, that is absolutely one of the most, for me, that's one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen, and especially in recent years.
Yeah. And then I picked 28 Days Later, just again on the zombie theme, and Cillian Murphy's in it, who's super hot, which is why I choose a lot of the films that I watch. Yeah, good movie. I don't know when it came out, probably the early 2000s. And I feel like it kind of jump-started the zombie, the new zombie.
The Renaissance?
Yeah. Do you think so too? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But I feel like after 28 Days Later, then like there was a lot more zombie stuff coming out.
Yeah, you might be right. I can't be sure, but yeah, you might
a zombie
be right.
resurgence, if you will. Yeah. And then I picked The Favorite. Has nothing to do with zombies or anything, but it does showcase Nicholas Hoult. This is a movie that came out recently, and he's not the main character of this. He's definitely a supporting character, but it's just really starting to show that I think he's turning into one of the better actors of this generation.
Yeah.
Just with the things that he chooses, and he's just such a unique actor, I feel like. And that movie's great. It's wonderful. And then also it's written by the same person or something. There's some connection between The Favorite and The Great.
Okay.
And it's very similar. I think it has the same writers. If I may have to look that up, but there is some connection there, and you can definitely see it. So The Favorite and The Great, Nicholas Hoult plays a bigger part in The Great. So see both of those. So those are my recommendations.
He does steal the scene every time he's in it in The Favorite. Like every time he steals the scene.
Yeah, someday we got to do About a Boy, because just more Nicholas Hoult, but baby Nicholas Hoult. Anyway,
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on today. It was a super blast, and I hope it was fun for you too.
Had a great time.
Yeah,
thanks for inviting me.
And this is probably the last one in the Horror Rom Com series for this year, but it will be back next year. Coming up in fall, we're going to have a couple fall movies most likely. We're looking into doing Jerry Maguire and Silver Linings Playbook. Hopefully both of those will happen. And then we'll be moving into Christmas movies. Yay. So Christmas rom-coms will be coming up after that. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to write to us, please do. Write us at feedback@everyromcom.com. And just thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.